Welcome to the Big Week in Gaming podcast. And what do you know? It's been a big week in gaming. I'm integot for episode 78 on Sunday, the 1st of May, 2022. In this week's show, we'll be discussing an update on Xbox Activision Blizzard's buyout. Will it actually happen? Aussie prices for the rebooted PS Plus service are revealed. And we review the hit new sports party game, Nintendo Switch Sports.
Shut up! Bigwig's on the radio! Shut up! It's gaming from the studio!
As sort of always, I'm joined by Mike.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
And almost always, Swinny.
Hey, I only missed one show.
Is that right?
I think that's true, yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
And I was in an emergency room. Come on.
Excuses.
I said you could have streamed from there. A real streamer would stream from there. They can't let the daily
Half-ass effort.
active users dip down. If you need to find our links, make sure you go to the description or go to bigwigpod.com. Is there any hype this week, Swinny?
Well, look, I am gonna...
Hype.
Mike, you sound like you want to hype something. What
Yeah,
do you
go
wanna
hype.
No,
Mike,
I'm trying to
go.
hype you to the hype.
Well, that's not the way to do it. I'm just putting it out there right now.
Okay, damn it.
Look, we will be doing our Elden Ring review. We're talking before the show when we want to do it. We want to slot out a good chunk of time to do our review / spoiler, half, I guess 0.5 episode. So we will probably be doing that sometime after the next episode, just because, just finding a good time for it. So
If anyone's watching the B-roll, watching the YouTube clips, Mike has got his cat. That's what you heard, them little meow.
Mike is making up for lost time after being a bit of a dick and not showing up last
Say hello
episode.
to everyone.
He doesn't even listen to what you say. He just does his own thing.
I was, but I'm showing up. I want, the world can see the cat.
What's your cat's name? Splodge.
His name is Splodge, because he's got a little splodge on his face. He's a little beauty spot. Right there.
My youngest son likes cats. He much prefers cats than dogs. He wants a cat for his birthday.
Interesting.
I don't think we're going to do that.
I was never a cat person. I mean, I know this is not a cat dog podcast, but I was not really. I used to take care of stray cats all the time. I had about 4 or 5 stray cats that I would feed on a regular basis. But I wasn't into cats that much.
There are cat dog podcasts.
Can I say,
there probably are cat dog podcasts.
Can I say that, so we did the podcast without you, Mike, and it was very seamless, but at the end of it, we were like, oh, there's no obvious titles, all this stuff, right? You come on the show within what is the recording? 3 minutes. It's going to be hard to knock off. This is not a cat dog podcast. That's the title. Not a cat dog podcast.
So back to my little interjection.
Maybe not.
I'm a huge dog person. I've always
You like huge dogs.
But this guy he's like a cat dog. He's affectionate.
He's like a cat dog.
I sleep with him every night. He's really cool. hey.
Okay, Swinny, save me. Have we got any corrections?
We do actually have a correction, and it's 2 episodes ago, I mentioned in our next week potential, I'm like, oh look, THQ Nordic have a digital showcase, and sure, they may not reveal anything that we actually want to talk about, but hey, it's something potentially next week. And then I was looking at all the news stories this week. I'm like, wait, what happened to that? No new was it so uneventful that no news came out of their digital showcase? And it's because their showcase was announced for August, not April.
That's a pretty early announcement.
I know, it's that's
nuts.
3.5 months or something, or whatever it is. It's wow, maybe there's a reason why they had to announce it, just for I don't know, for their stakeholders or something. But
probably.
So I got that wrong. So that's not until after the E3 period. So or the E3 period, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, it's Summer Games or whatever it's going to be called now. Summer Games Fest in June. I do have a question this week. I'm going way off the run sheet. I just thought of it on the way here. It's very, very kitschy. These are this is a question you'll hear in gaming all the time.
On the way here, do you have a separate studio recording?
Yeah. This is my studio because then I can use it as tax write-off.
Nice.
So this is when you've been doing a podcast too long, and the gaming podcast, when you ask these kind of questions. But the question is, there's a wizard, whisks you away to an island, right? You have access to the internet, and they say you can only choose one console for the rest of your life. You can't get off this island, right? Now, you can't choose PC, and games that are remakes, remasters, ports aren't included on that library. Which console would you choose?
Steam Deck, because I can watch porn whenever
That's
I
PC.
want.
That's PC. That's
It's
our-
not a PC.
It's
a
literally
console.
a PC, you idiot.
But it counts as a console.
They literally
All right,
say it's not
which
a
other
handout on a
console
PC.
has reliable internet and browsing?
That's not the point. This is for gaming.
No,
you have a PC to
The
do
point
whatever.
is, I'm alone on a fucking island.
No.
I need porn.
Listen to me. You have a PC. You can do whatever. You just can't play games on the PC.
Oh God, I think I'm gonna get beaten up again. Sorry.
All right, Swinny.
So this is very similar to a question you've asked before. It's just consoles rather than games. Is that right?
Yeah. This is the
Okay,
other
fair
angle
enough.
of this question.
Look, I would probably go with a Series X simply because of the backwards compatibility.
But that doesn't
with all
count. No,
those.
no.
What?
I said no games that weren't released. So I will be clearer. Only games that were released for that console. So no remakes, no ports, no backwards compatibility, nothing. All of those are
But
eliminated.
that's not even a thing these days. Like
I'm saying
the
this
thing-
is the wizard. The wizard doesn't give
This
a fuck.
isn't a
what you're
wizard.
saying.
This is a witch.
Because
it's
the
a
Series-
witch, and we
because
should
it's-
burn her.
because the
The
Series
witch.
X. Hey, I'm talking. The Series X natively plays all the stuff from the Xbox One.
It doesn't
so it's
count.
Not like it's not emulating or anything.
I didn't say
So-
that. The witch has said that any game that was not specifically released in the first instance.
Okay, all right. I'll go with your.
So
your
my
ridiculous
girlfriend
rules.
said,
That's the rules. What do you mean ridiculous?
Okay,
rules?
the ridiculous rules. I'd probably go with 360.
I thought
because-
you would. I thought you would.
Just because the reason being is I love like the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
but just in terms of that's the only thing I have to play. The 360's library is just much broader with games that are just going to you're going to get much more out of it. And obviously, if you factor in online play, then there's things that you're just able to do. And like things like Minecraft, we've talked before, Minecraft is an amazing game to choose as a desert island game simply because you can just do so much in it.
That's true.
So you don't have access to games
That's
like
true.
that on older consoles. So I'd go with 360.
That's a good one, the Minecraft one, because that was actually released on it first, so it wouldn't count on later generations.
Yeah, and look,
But
I mean, you could argue PS3 just in its place. They're very similar.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Joe Jives has said ColecoVision in the chat.
Coleco Chameleon.
In the chat. How about you, quickly, Mike?
look, I probably the Switch.
But there's no. So you got to think about this, right? Because Mario
no
Kart
what?
would not be included.
Don't play it.
Breath of the Wild,
Don't play it. Wait, why is Breath of the Wild not included?
because that was wow. Oh, actually, that one would be included. That was the same day. Okay, I'll give you that one. But a
Only
whole
the
bunch of the
launch-
games wouldn't. A whole bunch of the
Wait.
games wouldn't be included.
So wait, what's the rule? Only launch?
No. The
What-
Witch has said. The Witch has said it has to be
My
the
girlfriend
first
has said.
instance. The first
Witcher.
instance. The Witch.
Witcher.
The Witcher has
called
said.
The
It's gone
first
from a wizard to a witcher.
instance. What,
Wizard to the
what does
Witcher,
that mean?
Witcher.
The first instance.
It's obvious. So it's
the
like
cutoff?
it's not a port. It's not a remake. It's not a remaster.
Oh,
It's not backwards compatibility.
it's got to be the original. Oh, man.
Quickly.
I don't know. 360 as well, I guess.
I'll say one, and I reckon you guys wouldn't guess what I'd say. I'd say the PS2
Fair enough. That had a
because
bunch
I
of
hadn't
good
played
titles.
a bunch
Yeah.
of the PS2, and yes,
But
it is
again,
for the
no
rest of my
internet.
life. Yeah, but the thing is, they have so many games on there, and I don't like playing online. Everyone's an asshole anyway. So it doesn't have Rocket League. That's the one thing that's like that made me think maybe I should pick a console like a PS4 because it's got Rocket League. But all right,
Can I just ask,
Yes.
how hot is the witch? I'm just asking.
This was a wizard. Remember, it was a wizard.
It's a
it was
witcher now,
originally
it's a witcher
but
now.
it's now a witch.
All right, we're moving on.
Witcher. Because then I
Mike.
wouldn't be playing any games, if you know what I mean.
what have you been playing this week?
What have I been playing? Good question. Good question. A couple of games. So first one is Elden Ring, of course. Finished it. We're gonna do the review in about a week and a bit, hopefully. I put in about not quite as many hours as you, I reckon, Swinny. Still 150, which is a lot, but I don't think I've done as many hours as you in total. So I finished the full game. I got every ending. I platinumed.
Got the platinum.
Got the platinum on PS5 and started a new game plus, which is a breeze now. Obviously, over leveled all that jazz. I think I've literally got everything I can in the game, other than stuff that you could only get through a second playthrough. So yeah, keen to talk about it. I've got
All the weapons and
thoughts.
everything.
Well, I reckon pretty much all the weapons, yeah. There's two or three that I didn't get because I didn't duplicate the remembrances. Because you don't get enough duplications per playthrough, so I'll do that in this playthrough. And there might be a few drops from enemies that I didn't farm or something like that. But overwhelmingly, I think I've got literally everything you can get in the game. And I probably spent a little bit too much time prepping for New Game Plus, where I got like 20 of each of the Sombra Stones and like 400 of each of the other crafting materials, so I could play around with any weapon I have. So I think I wasted a bit too much time in that game. But I have thoughts, many thoughts. And then the second thing that I played a little bit of, until I kind of had to put it down because it's bloody difficult, is Ride 4, which is it's basically the Gran Turismo with motorcycles. That's what it is. It's a pretty cool simulation. You guys can see it on the B-roll if you're watching this online. It looks pretty darn good, as you can tell from this. With no HUD on, anything like that. It's got my bike, which is freaking awesome, because when I played, I think it was Ride 2 where they introduced my bike. You had to play almost half the game or something like that to be able to unlock it. This time, you got it right off the bat. I mean, literally right off the bat. It came with the DLC thing that was included in the pack, so I could actually get it, customize it, and feel like I'm riding my real bike. And it's freaking awesome. It even sounds like the real thing, which is really cool.
So this developer, Milestone, I didn't realize they're the ones behind the Hot Wheels Unleashed game, which is
That's
meant to be
true, yeah.
really cool. So yeah, man, they've certainly got a niche of what games they work on. I mean, you find
Definitely a
something,
niche,
you
yeah.
find something you're good at, you stick with it, don't you?
Well, speaking of being good at, I suck at this. So I put it on the lowest
Really?
difficulty. Yeah, dude. I don't know if it's just me. Probably just me. I don't know.
yeah.
Or just it takes a bit of getting used to compared to playing car games. And I've played plenty of car games, and I'm okay at them. But this, man, it is difficult as hell. Even on the lowest difficulty setting, you can't make any mistakes pretty much on the tracks against other races, or you just can't win the race. Time trials are really difficult. It's a difficult game. So luckily though, I don't give a shit. I actually just buy just to kind of get some motorbikes, play with them, tweak them, check them out and stuff, because I love motorbikes probably more than cars in some ways. So anyway, it's a cool game. On and off. It's not going to be something that, I'm going to play to finish or anything like that. It's just going to be something that I jump into here and there just to check it out. So that's me.
Yeah, it's funny because like if you're watching the YouTube show or the stream and through the B-roll, this is actually a replay that you can do in first person view. So
you can play this in first person. Yeah, this is the view in first person.
are you sure?
100%. This is
So
what
you
it looks like
played
in first
this?
person. Yeah. I play it in first person like
Okay.
this with no HUD. So there's
With all the ray
three-
tracing and everything like that as well? I thought that was only in the replay mode.
I don't know, but the game looks bloody close to this if it doesn't look like this in actual
Well,
racing.
you played it, so...
Yeah, I played it now. It looks incredible. It looks really cool. So I play it not because of any particular reason, just to make my life more difficult. I tried it in third person and first person like this, but it's just sick in first person like
Yeah,
this.
it looks insane.
And there's a mode that is fixed for first person, so the camera doesn't shake as much as it does in this. There's one where the camera shakes, and there's one where you're inside your helmet. So it kind of gives you a bit more vignetting and feels more like you're actually... But it's really weird because compared to a car where your head is relatively stationary, you might look a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right when you go in, but horizontally everything's stabilized. With this, your entire view kind of goes completely skewed at a weird angle. And it's really hard to judge the distance of the track and how wide you go and stuff. But I guess it's just a case of getting used to. You were going to say something, Swin?
Well,
Yeah,
I was actually
this-
saying something. That's why I was trying to say something with what you were saying about it. Because my son, my youngest one, he's like 20 months old. He actually, like, he's a massive rev head. Like, we went down to Melbourne. I saw you guys. And my dad has like 4 motorbikes in the garage. And he's just like revving them all. He just loves it. He saw this footage. He hates screens. He like goes away from screens. He hates them absolutely, right? But he saw this and he's like staring at it. And he was actually like sitting there and he was like trying to twist with the corners.
Uh-oh.
I was like, oh my God, I got like a massive rope head on my hands.
You do if you're into this kind of shit. This is
Swinny?
crazy dangerous.
Yeah, no, just watching this footage is to me just it's so tense to watch,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of we all went overseas for a friend's wedding that he was having, and I was the unfortunate person. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll jump in the front seat of this taxi in a country I've never been in, and it reminded me of how tense that was in a country where, let's just say, they drive a lot closer to cars than we do here in Australia. So it was kind of brought me back to that, like, it gave me some PTSD around that experience. So.
Do you know what's funny about those things? When you go to those countries and they're like driving so aggressively, so fast and everything like that. And you're like, oh, okay, it's just like they don't have as many accidents. And then you actually find out, oh no, they have way more accidents and fatalities. It's just like they just don't give a shit as much. It's like, oh shit, that actually legit scares me. So are you going to drop this or are you going to keep playing it?
No, it's on and off. I don't really care if I'm good at it or not. It's just really fun to just play around with it. What
do you got it on?
me-
Xbox or
PS5.
PlayStation?
Yeah. the
I was
PS5
thinking
one.
about picking it up. Is it on sale or?
It was 25 or 30 bucks or something for the full edition with the DLCs.
Oh wow!
Not quite. I think it's missing 2 packs or something, but it's peanuts. You get basically everything with this.
I might keep an
So,
alert on it.
Totally
to
worth it.
see,
Yeah, it's really fun just to get into it. But like I said, it's bloody difficult.
Nice. So I guess I'll go to me. I picked up Nintendo Switch Sports. So this is I guess you call it the Wii Sports series. It's actually 4th installment if you think of it like that. So I'll review that. I'll do a quick review of that. I picked up the Min amiibo. So this is after what was it?
Fucking hell, Spawn, Mel.
I love Min. This is like 680 days after the reveal of Min in Smash Brothers. So it's like, it's getting insane. It's like, dude, did you hear that, Swinny? It's like 2 years from here is like, you know, Min's going to be in Smash to actually get the amiibo. So I worry about Sora and when that bloody Sora amiibo is coming out. I've still been playing God of War. I'm enjoying it more, but yeah, it's interesting because people regard this game, like a lot of people, that this is the best PlayStation 4 game. And I just personally can't see it, but yeah, it's interesting. It's a good game though. Also getting through Fire Emblem, Three Houses, Cindered Shadows DLC. Man, I am so shit at this game. Like, I'm playing normal now, but classic mode still. So again, you know, any characters that die, they're gone forever, right? So pretty much you don't want to let anyone die. You have to like restart. And I have restarted so many of these levels so many times. I would have played, I reckon, 15 hours of this DLC. It's only meant to last like 8 hours. And I'm only up to like chapter 3.
I imagine the DLC though is much higher difficulty to give people more of a challenge that had already been the main game. So
maybe I find that these games, like these kind of niche Nintendo games, are
sorry, Mike, that was a very short-lived blue wig segment. I'm just you gave up pretty quickly.
It's uncomfortable, man. I don't know why people wear wigs.
Fix your wig up. Yeah, just like, I think these really niche fanboyish Nintendo games, they're so hard to judge for me because I'll jump on the forum and go, like, is this game too hard, or like, what am I doing wrong? Because it just makes me feel I must be doing something wrong. I'm playing it in a wrong way. And people are like, oh, it's so easy. It's all this like hero behavior online. Oh, this is the easiest game ever. Even if you ramp it up to insanity, it's super easy. You just got to pick up all the items and you'll be fine. I'm like, it's the same as Earthbound. We'll talk about that game shortly in the show. But I check online. I'm like, is Earthbound hard? Like, I find that really hard. And people are like, oh, it's the easiest game. It's like a breeze. I can't believe anyone ever dies. I'm like, who are these dickheads? Like, I'm not that shit. Like, I'm not that bad at games. But I am enjoying Three Houses, and I'm committed to finishing it because the Muso Warriors, new, Fire Emblem Warriors games coming out, Three Hopes. I think it's like July from memory, June, July. So I want to make sure I beat the main story before that comes out because it looks like it's going to continue it. And in a maybe small surprise, I also picked up the new Pokemon Snap game.
Ah, didn't realize there was a new
I'd,
one.
I'd be surprised if I didn't look at the run sheet.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I knew you were going
Hey,
to
I should be surprised. I never look at the run
Yeah,
sheet.
he never looks at the run sheet.
I actually looked at this one.
Yeah, I picked this up mostly for my kids because they're starting to get into Pokemon a little bit. And yeah, it's a game. It's a weird one, right? Like, it's pretty much exactly like the Nintendo 64 Pokemon Snap, which is, you're on rails taking photos of Pokemon. You got to try to egg them on to do certain things to get all the photos and complete the photo decks. But there's not much more to it than that. The thing is, I'm not sure if my kids are going to get into this game or not. So if they don't, I might need to sell it because I got it for really cheap. I don't know what's going on, but Harvey Norman seems to be like, this is in Australia.
Yeah, what
They
is
seem
up
to
with
be
that?
like liquidating all their gaming stock. It's like
think
maybe
they're
they're
getting
getting out
rid
of
of it.
gaming.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe because they're just selling for stuff for ridiculous prices. This was like $25 or $26 or something.
Damn, for a brand new game.
Yeah, brand new.
Actually,
And-
then again, I picked up Mario Golf and the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword for cheap as well, $29 or something.
yeah, it's insane. Like these will sell like today for $50. So I don't know what the hell they're doing, but Amazon matched one of their prices. So I was like, worst case scenario, I can either return it to Amazon or just sell it to EB Games. I'm sure they'll give me like probably $25 for this game. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it's okay game. My concern though is with the resolution I've got. All these games I add, I need to beat them, right? Or else it's like gonna screw up my ratio. So that's why I'm almost like literally going, am I gonna sell this game, or am I gonna be forced to try to beat it myself? So
wait, so for your resolution, if you sell a game after you've beaten it, does that then -1 off your?
yeah, I think so because I
fair
think
enough.
so.
It's your resolution. I just like that little loophole you've got. It's like right at the end of the year, you can just sell all your games, and you're like, yes, I've won.
But that's the kind of point though, in a way, right? I don't sell like I only sell duplicates or if I've bought a digital version, and even then, I still own a lot of games digitally and physically, which is nuts to me. I don't know why I do that, but I've got a few like that. How about you, Swinny? What have you been playing this week?
So a few things. So the game I've put the most time into is actually Tales of Berseria. So I won't say too much about this because I'll be playing through to next weekend, so I might have some more thoughts. I'll probably beat it by next episode. For anyone not familiar with the Tales games, they're action RPG or JRPGs, very heavy emphasis on characters and like skits and character building and things like that. But they are full of tropes, but they're still fun, so you kind of got to ride with it, and then you'll probably have a good time. But Berseria was the latest entry in the series before Tales of Arise came out, which is the most recent game. And it came out in 2016 for PS4 only. So this I'm actually playing through. Also, it also helps me work towards my resolution of the PlayStation Pile of Shame. I did have this on PC, but it was on special on PlayStation, so I got it there, and I'm glad because this is the kind of game I'd rather play more like sitting on the couch in front of a TV, without finding a way to hook up my PC to the TV and everything. But look, this game I'm having a really good time. I'm about 25 hours in. I don't know if I like it more than the other Tales games I've played. Its battle system's probably not as fun to me as Tales of Arise or my favorite in the series, Vesperia, which is probably my favorite JRPG of all time.
Wow.
And it's good. Like there's a lot to it, but I think it started to click with me. The fact that I'm 25 hours in, you'd hope so, but they're still revealing some little elements of the systems of the battle system still then. So they introduce new things over time, which is cool. But yeah, it's I think it's really fun. The main character's a complete badass, like just absolutely awesome character named Velvet. She's just hell bent on revenge. So it's a really, really cool, interesting story. So I'm sitting interested to see where it goes. So yeah, that's Tales of Berseria.
Did you say that Tales of what was the other game? Tales of
Vesperia.
Vesperia.
Yeah.
Not this game. Vesperia is your favorite RPG of all time.
How much have I talked about Tales of Vesperia?
I
Not
know.
a lot.
It is.
Yeah,
it
no,
is
I know
my
you have. I don't know if you've said it's the best RPG you've ever played. I don't
He
remember
has
you
said that before.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
He
probably
said
my
that before.
favorite. It's probably
Yeah.
my favorite JRPG
Okay.
I've ever played.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
say
love
that, yeah.
Vesperia. I've beaten it
Wow.
about 8 times.
Whoa.
So
I have to play that on Switch. Maybe I'll make that my next Switch game.
the next game I played, and this kind of falls under the Game Pass games that I've been playing, each new Game Pass game they release. And this game is Chinatown Detective Agency. So I was keen to try this one out. And I had a little bit of a buzz, and I heard about it a little while ago because it looks really unique and cool. So it's like a noir take on a point and click. So you're running a detective agency, so you can imagine you've got to solve cases and follow up leads and things like that. The game is gorgeous, got really, really cool sprite art look, and the characters actually scale depending on the depth of the scene. So if you move around, it actually changes. So it actually looks really nice. I'm not a big fan of the controls on console in terms of navigating UI. It's not difficult, it just doesn't feel intuitive, I should say. But I had some major issues with this game that actually made me stop playing it, to be honest. So I didn't like how the game introduced one of its core mechanics. So the game expects you to investigate things outside of the game itself. So it will give you clues, and you've actually got to go look them up, which is a cool idea. So, for instance, they'll give you things, and you've got to go look up historical documents or Wikipedia entries. You've got to try to find the clues based on that stuff. But I didn't like how they introduced that idea. So in the first scene, which is kind of shown on YouTube at the moment, they go, "Hey, your character gives you a lead, which is a quote, and then you need to go to the library and then try to find the book, who borrowed the book relating to that quote." The way they kind of talked about this, I did not take away that I need to actually go out of the game to search this up. I thought it's worded like one of the key mechanics of Chinatown Detective Agency is it requires player to figure things out on their own, which I don't hear that or read that and immediately think it's expecting me to go outside the game to do that. I was expecting there might be a fake internet thing that you got to search, or you got to do something within the game itself. And there's different areas, even in the first case, you can go. So I'm walking around for ages trying to find stuff, talking to characters. Your character walks really slow, so I'm getting frustrated. Eventually I give up, and then I find out, no, you've actually got to look that quote up on Google to then search the book in the library system. I'm like, that would have been nice to know. I like the idea, and once you know that's what the game is wanting you to do, it's fine. But I just spell it out clearly to me. Don't be like, oh, you got to figure it out on your own. That doesn't say that to me. But that's not what got me stop playing this game. This game doesn't actually it only auto saves after you've cleared cases. So I played through and I was going through a section, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to come back to this. Then I load the game back up, and it says start new game. I'm like,
oh no!
Yeah. Now it was only the first intro case, so I'm not saying it's a long thing. And if you know what you need to do, but the thing is and you can manually save after completing 3 cases, and I'm like, what a bad design choice that is. So that really annoyed me to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm sure this game actually has some good stuff to it, and I like that concept of looking stuff up. But really I'm just like, nah, if you're not going to allow people to save, this isn't a roguelite run-based game or anything. It's a point-and-click game. Allow people to save whenever they want, or at least auto-save when you enter a new scene or something like that. So,
I think a modern game, no matter if you're an indie or not, and it's got a story, and you have to auto-save pretty aggressively these days, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the fact that it doesn't tell you that as well, so you would assume if there's no manual save in a game that it is auto-saving these days. Plus, the voice acting is fucking atrocious in this game. So again, I'd only play through the early parts. Maybe it's just those characters, but it doesn't give a good impression in terms of the voice acting. So the next game I tried out in Game Pass was a game called Super Mega Baseball 3. So I was actually interested to try this out because I was looking forward to playing an arcadey sports game for once in a while. The sports games I've played for a long time, other than your Mario games, have more been the sim games that I've tried. So this game actually falls in between an arcade game and a sim. It's not super arcade, if that makes sense. So I was a little disappointed there, but overall, this game's actually pretty fun. This series is actually pretty well regarded. A lot of people like the Super Mega Baseball series. There was just part of me that it's weird. It's I'm not a sports fan, but I'm almost looking for a game to play that appeals to people that aren't even into the sport, like an NBA Jam, like games that are like anyone will play. So that one of the other games on my list that I'm going to try out is MLB The Show. So probably going to have a miserable time with that one because I imagine that's closer to a sim than Super Mega Baseball. So, but this game's actually not bad. Probably the last baseball game I ever played was actually on my Amstrad back in like 1990. So it's been a while. Been a while coming.
Been a while.
And the last game we'll talk about is a game by the name of Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, which I believe was a free game or is a free game on Amazon Prime at the moment, I believe.
Yes, it is.
But it's on Game Pass, as I mentioned. So I'd heard about this game for a while. You know, it's got a very memorable title. You don't forget this soon. But I started playing it, not knowing really what to expect. Honestly, if you're in a bad mood, this is a great game to play because from the moment I started playing, I just had a smile on my face the whole time. And I actually beat this game. It's not very long. It's probably about 2 to 3 hours, you know, doing everything. So don't expect like a long experience. It's basically like Zelda mixed with an adventure title where you're finding key items and completing quests by trading items back and forth. But this game is just absolutely hilarious. I love the tone of this game. Your character, this turnip boy, is basically like a psychopath. Like the way, like he's all cute and everything, but when characters talk to him, it's just like ... And then every now and then he'll just be like, stop. You know, like he doesn't talk, but then when he mentions something, it's just actually really funny. But there's this running joke that to me just never got old of every single thing he document or anything he comes up with, he just rips in half all the time. And there's like a button that says rip. And that includes like, okay, a character's like, oh, can you get the deed to my house? And you'll go get it, you'll bring it back and you just rip it up in front of their face. And it's just like I don't know why, it's just a thing in the game. Like even books, it's like, oh, here's a book about like doing your taxes for dummies and just literally rips a book in half. Just really, really, I just love the tone of this game. As I said, it's pretty short, but it made me laugh the whole time. So I actually really recommend this if you've got Game Pass because it's I think it's really, really fun to play. So
I love the title. It's like a rare game that just the title itself is so awesome that it captured my attention. So,
and look, its story kind of goes places, but it was expected, but it was also good to see them actually. Oh, okay, I thought that's what they're going to do, and they did that, so it was really funny. So yeah, I liked the game.
Do you know if Super Mega Baseball 3 is on PC Game Pass?
I'll have a look. I will have a look
because I actually was. You know how I've always wanted to make an arcade game. I was like always pointing to this game. A lot of people say this is a really good game to try. So I wasn't going to buy it. Well, I was thinking about buying it, but then I'm like, maybe I'll just wait, see if it goes on sale.
I don't see if it's on Xbox Game Pass for PC. It might only be on console, but I could be wrong. I'm just going off True Achievements' listing.
It sounds right. I think I would have heard of it because I subscribed to all the ones where it will tell me about PC Game Pass. I don't remember seeing it at all. But, nice. And that's all you've been playing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Cool. Nice. All right, let's go into the news. So Activision Blizzard announced this week that their shareholders have approved the acquisition by Microsoft. So more than 98% of the shares were in favor of the acquisition deal. The merger has until June 2023 to close and would make Microsoft the world's third largest gaming company. Which to me already feels like they should be the third largest. It's kind of bad if they're not. But some in the industry are skeptical that the deal will go ahead. So Bloomberg has reported and detailed that the potential blockage by FTC head Lena Khan, who has a history of advocating for a more forceful approach to reviewing deals, especially by big tech companies. They suggest that the FTC will have a Democratic majority by then, elevating a stalemate that caused inaction on Amazon/MGM merger. Whereas
alleviating, I just want to clarify.
Oh, alleviating. What did I say? Elevating.
Elevating. I'm like, that's the opposite.
Do you know why I got thrown? I got thrown because it says a Democratic majority, but what in? The FTC, or are you saying a Democratic majority
I was just regurgitating whatever Bloomberg article said. So,
because I was like,
did Jason write this?
Oh yeah, I was like thinking Democratic. There's zero chance they'll have a Democratic majority in Congress because they'll lose that for sure. Analyst Michael Pachter places the odds at the FTC lawsuit at 10% and chances of winning the case at 0% due to the difficulty in defining the concentrated market, quote unquote, the merger would cause. Microsoft wouldn't have a massive share in the market, and current antitrust law overlooks so-called freemium business model common in gaming. And then like it has been quite funny, like, you know, friend of the show, not really, but we like him, Richard Hogue of Hogue Law. There's a really good YouTube channel focused on law as regards to media and mostly gaming. Has covered this. It's quite funny because he sort of was pretty aggressive against Jason Schreier, and now Jason Schreier has blocked him on Twitter, and he's
What?
just today gone back to Jason Schreier because there was a comment from Jason Schreier, quote, where is it? Quote, "Don't let loud fanboys or YouTube pundits mislead you into thinking any of this is inaccurate," end quote. Which, I mean, like, when you go through all the kind of law YouTubers, it's only really Hogue Law talking about this. I don't know who else he could be talking about, you know?
Oh, I love this because everyone loves a good spat.
Yeah.
Hogue is just like, what does he say? Like, basically saying that, you know, their analysis should be given equal treatment to someone like Anonymous XXX69420 from Reddit, you know. So, but the thing is, look, obviously, Richard Hogue is a very smart guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you read the article, it's, you know, we know Bloomberg is very biased in many ways, but you read the article and I didn't get the impression that they were just basically saying, look, you know, like, this is what analysts are saying, you know. They kind of, that's why I included the thing about Michael Pachter, because he's saying the opposite of what some of the other analysts were saying. So I didn't get it that there was that much bias in this article, and he took it like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
And it might not be the FTC, that's the thing, because it's also European like influence here, and they can be they've caused more change in this space, much more than the FTC or any of the US regulators. I was really surprised when I looked at the share price. I mean, very simplistically, essentially it's trading at around $75 at Activision Blizzard shares, whereas the strike price for the merger deal is $95, right? So just very simplistically, if you buy a share today and just say like it was going to be acquired tomorrow, you're making $20 per share, right? Now, it's a year until it closes. So all that Bloomberg's pointing out is the market is pricing there's risk that this deal won't happen. I don't agree with where Hogue was coming from. He was overplaying the whole inflation element. Inflation's crazy in America, but it's not really like a massive factor in this space that you'd be really focusing on, because it's also not inflation that you analyze. You got to analyze what rates you can get. Like, inflation's higher than the rates now by like a mile. So I think that was really flawed. And to be fair to him, he actually said, this is like lawyer math, so I'm not really like that good at it. And I'm kind of like, well, I don't think he should really veer into this space because he doesn't know what he's talking about. But the other stuff that he was saying about the FTC, I agree with. But I think it's more like the European angle. And I think that's why the market's pricing in some issues there. So
man with octopus on the head, what is your in-depth analysis of this business situation?
I have absolutely no thoughts on it. If it goes through, it goes through. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I really don't give a shit.
I don't know
That
why.
is my business analysis.
This is Mike, who like got so angry with us that we started this show, and then he's like, I don't have an opinion on anything, and I hate games.
No. I just think when it comes to this business side of it, I don't think there's a reason, for example, why it would even be an issue for it not to pass. Given the statistics that we just talked about, where it only now would become the third biggest, which is weird. I agree. It should probably be much bigger than that, but clearly it's not. They're just adding a few studios to their banner. Is it really something that comes down to antitrust or anything like that? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. It's not a big enough merger like that for it to be. Dollar-wise, absolutely. It seems absolutely crazy. Probably also because of the number of clients or customers that that Activision has that they're going to be gobbling in. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think it'll go through. I don't imagine it's going to fail at this point.
Yeah, I think Microsoft at this point, they've had issues in the past, but I think they've got enough sway to, they will make this happen in some way, form or another. Even if, like often, and I'm horrible when it comes to anything like this level of business in M&A and anything like that. But a lot of the time, the resolution is, well, you divest something, right? So, for instance, obviously King is a very important part, but if the issue is, well, then that's a huge part, then, they would look at, okay, are there any divisions we have that we're currently working on mobile stuff on already in Microsoft, and you divest that, or you do something there. So there's always a way around it. There's always a way. They won't let this be stopped in any way, so.
Yeah. I think the market price is pretty fair, because you're talking about $75 to $95 1 year. There's some risk. It's still more than likely to happen. That's what the market's saying. And you've also got Warren Buffett, who's investing massively. I think he owns almost 10% of Activision Blizzard now through his Berkshire Hathaway, because he's betting it's going to happen. So he's like, great. Like, I'm paying $75 in 1 year's time. I'm going to get $95. I'm getting $20 for, like, that return's insane. So
he needs more money, doesn't he?
No, but he runs investment firm, so
I know.
It'd be going against his fiduciary duty. But I just think watch out for Europe. Europe are a bit random, and they can throw spanners in the works to these kind of things. And I think this is like, I think when it got announced, we're all like, what the hell? Like, who's like, it's almost like the next step would be like they're buying Nintendo hostilely. You know what I mean? It's like, what else could it be?
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised with that one.
I think they would, but there's Japanese rules around how they can't do that.
Exactly, yeah. And I think being such a big competitor in the gaming space, I reckon the FCC would probably go against that.
Maybe.
And interestingly, like there's been some recent, or at least one job listing that indicates Microsoft aren't done with acquisitions, which we expected. But at the same time, you've got the rumors, which we've talked about in the show in the past, but they've cropped up again of with the whole Warner Brothers Discovery and all that stuff, that potentially, because that's a huge merger that's happening. Again, potentially selling off the game development studios, like your NetherRealm studios and things like that. That Microsoft are reportedly one of the interested parties, as you'd expect in that kind of world. So I just wonder if, I have no idea how it works. I imagine that if Microsoft then go and buy a bunch more companies while this thing is still kind of in the process, if that impacts stuff and they're kind of waiting, to see how the things go
before they announce anything.
Yeah, not the NetherRealm Studios. Obviously, NetherRealm Studios is a blip in the radar of everything, but Microsoft might have other intentions, and they're just obviously holding off. So who knows? Yeah,
and it feels like a few studios are looking to be acquired, like Ubisoft, like
Platinum.
They're almost desperate to be acquired, right? But I look at Ubisoft, and it's like, they're so perfectly poised to be acquired because they've got so many devs and people under their employ. They've got 20,000. Like, Nintendo has 6,000. Like, I look at Nintendo's output versus Ubisoft's output. I'm like, that's insane to me that they got 20,000.
So this week, are you also alluding to that there were rumors about that this week, about Ubisoft acquisition?
Well, so not so much the rumors, but just the fact that some of the family are leaving the business. It's like they're getting to a point where there's no consistent ownership of that business anymore. So I feel like that's prime for a change then. So yeah, I know there were some rumors, but I didn't read much about them. It was more just facts that it had been changing on the ground there. So
well, they've been a target. I think it was Vivendi were trying to buy them out years ago, and they kind of fought them off. So
but I think that that's the difference of going, they get bought off by a Microsoft, but maybe you could get a Tencent coming in and buying them. I feel like Tencent and Ubisoft are a good match for some bizarre reason.
They are. I know exactly what you mean. Unfortunately, I don't either.
Imagine that, Swinny. It's like one of your favorite series is owned by Tencent. I think Tencent's third currently, aren't they? So it's like Sony, Nintendo, Tencent, from what I understand, in terms of the biggest gaming companies.
Yep.
Yeah, nuts, man. I can't believe Microsoft is not the third biggest. That's just insane to me. All right, let's get on to the next story. It's another spicy one. I think, Swinny, you can take this one away.
Yeah, so this story is one that just really piqued my interest this week because it's about, Japanese development studios and publishers, and you don't often hear about this kind of stuff because not only is it rare to happen, but also just people don't talk about it. So, what am I talking about? The legendary Yuji Naka, formerly the head of Sonic's Sonic team and one of the key programs behind the original Sonic games, very well-renowned figure in the industry, Nights into Dreams and everything like that. So he was the director of Balan Wonderworld, that very critically acclaimed game that came out last year with an absolute flop. So basically, he actually spoke out on Twitter this week, and just some of the stuff he was saying is just so unexpected from a Japanese, Japanese developer, basically. But it was really, really interesting. So I was mentioned Balan Wonderworld came out last March. So it came out really poor reviews, poor sales. Reports in June then indicated Yuji Naka, who directed it, had already left Square Enix by the end of April. So it came out in March, he'd already left by the end of April. And everyone's like, oh, it was unsurprising because of how badly this game went, but also just kind of such a fast exit, or you'd expect a fast exit. But what Naka was talking about this week on Twitter, so he actually sued Square Enix because he got removed as the game's director 6 months before release. And I don't remember hearing any news about him getting removed as director at all.
I don't think that was published. I don't think that was publicized because everyone sort of said it. It's like he released it,
Exactly. So basically, so he got released in his own words, and these are via translations, and I've actually gone, there's probably the best translation I've found. I forget where it was, but I've tried to be as accurate as I can from those reports.
Was it from VGC, Video Game Chronicle? They're pretty good.
VGC, VGC, and they updated with a more accurate translation. So basically, because original translations were like Google Translate and everything like that. But anyway, so on Twitter, so the actual trial has ended. I don't know what the outcome is, but basically now he's freely wanted to talk about this, and he got removed as director from the game 6 months before it released. Remember, for two reasons that he identified, or that he talked about. So one was the fact that they used a YouTuber's cover of one of the game's songs for promotional materials, essentially turning the original composer into a ghostwriter. And he was fighting for, no, we need to use the original versions in this. It's essentially like discrediting the person's work, as much as I'm sure the YouTube cover was all right.
Yeah.
The point is that he didn't want that to represent what the game was about, and the game's people put so much work into this stuff. And the other reason was that he really clashed with the co-developer, who's was Ousted, submitting the game for release, and going through all the barriers there without fixing a lot of the key issues that he had identified. And I think clashing there and all those issues, basically he mentioned via a business order they released him as director for the game for 6 months, which is crazy to me. Because what I thought, well, we didn't hear about this, but I remember when they launched this, when they announced this game, it was like in a pre-show of the Game Awards or something. It was a really weird time when they released when they announced it. But so I went back and looked at the major trailers that they released to see where they stopped mentioning him as director, and it lines up so perfectly. So in the July 2020 announcement, it's like directed by Yuji Naka. The October 2020, directed by Yuji Naka, and then January and March leading up into the release, no mention of him at all. So it's kind of like that timeline works absolutely perfect there, and no one had any idea. But yeah, so it's just such a this game was already a clusterfuck. But this whole story behind it, this is the kind of thing that, we talked about Jason Schreier before and how he's written books talking about the troubled development of games. This would be a perfect game to kind of to find out about, especially the fact that there was a lawsuit and some of that information would be publicly available, if not now, then later or whatever. But it's just not only is the game such a bizarre thing to happen, and obviously by all accounts I haven't played it, was a mess, just to hear that he got removed. And
What's even happening in the B-roll? I don't understand.
I mean, it's a 3D platformer, like, but it just wasn't what people were wanting. Like, it was just really obviously had issues, and some of the things that Naka said about it. So I pulled up some choice quotes, but basically, he's talking about Square Enix not valuing games and game fans. They blocked him from responding or liking anything on social media during that time as well. So he couldn't even like people's fan art of the game. Like, it's just kind of wild. So basically, he says he's truly sorry to the customers who bought Balan Wonderworld.
Everyone says Wonderland.
Yeah,
by the way,
I know. I even put it as our code for our little run sheet. But he's actually sorry to people that bought an unfinished game, and the fact that he thinks the critical reception it received had a lot to do with what happened, and he's really disappointed that a product he worked on turned out like that. So, and I would be too. Like, he's worked on some games that haven't been amazing, but he's worked on some of those classic games of all time, and you can kind of see where this whole thing's fallen apart.
Yeah, but not for a while. Like, I actually went through his the games that he's worked on in the past. It's been a long time since he's worked on a big game, like a game of this. This is like a AA game, right?
But I normally I would agree if they were going for a modern style game. This was definitely designed to be more of a throwback in design.
Yeah.
So I think that obviously, look, this game could have still turned out to be absolute crap, but it's clear that he obviously didn't think it was in the right state to be anywhere near release. So.
Yeah, and look, like, we don't know. Like, maybe they had given him notes and overseeing the game, and they were not happy with its improvements or how it was going, each quarter or whatever. But it is super interesting though. Like, I remember, when you pointed out the story and I started looking into it a bit more, it's pretty crazy because I feel like everyone was kind of heaping shit on him. And even myself, I was like, oh man, this is a terrible way to bow out, pretty much. Because that's what it felt like. It was like, this guy's never going to make a game again of this kind of scale. And then to sort of hear he was removed and then gagged. And I actually, it's a weird one. Now you kind of almost have to give him the benefit of the doubt. Because I know that, Mike, you said, oh, like, what the hell is this game? So this game, by all accounts, is a terrible game. But it's amazing, you probably, and you hear stories about this all the time, how a game could be horrible, and then you give it another 6 months of polish and cleaning stuff up, and it can go from, like, a really shit game to actually being a really decent game. Like, there's sometimes, very concentrated things you can do. And I think one thing about this game is it's very distinct. Like, it's very odd and it's very weird, and the characters are weird and odd, but I think that could be cool if you wrap it into a good game. So I think, for me, the art and the way it looks and the craziness and the zaniness, that's fine. I've never had an issue with that in this game. But given that it's a bad game, it then makes it stand out even more in a bad way. Because it's like, it looks crazy and it's really bad. So it's like, oh, geez.
And there are some people that actually don't mind the game. But obviously, that's not what the majority of people out there were saying.
I think, but it's also not just the majority. It's like the vast, vast majority. Like, I think that's the same amount of people that like The Room, like, legitimately like The Room. It's like, does anyone legitimately like this game? I'm not really sure.
It's a bit harsh, but I
like
know
The
what you're
Room.
saying. I know what you're saying.
I don't know. I've watched people...
You like The Room, Mike. You legitimately like The Room.
The puzzle one. Am I thinking about a different game here?
The Room is a good puzzle game.
To be fair, it's fair that you thought of the game, The Room, in a way.
Which one?
We're talking about the movie, The Room.
Oh, no, I thought about the game. I quite like the game. It's like an escape room kind of game. That was good. Okay, right.
I don't know. I've never played it, to be fair, this game, but I have actually watched someone play it from scratch, first impressions, and I'm like, wow, this game is very odd. The choices that it's made, and it does not look good at all. Like, for instance, there's only one action you have in this game, and it's mapped to every single button. Every face button's all the same action. Like, there's just sort of very bizarre choices that are like, has anyone on the team actually played a game who's made this decision? It's just, like, very bizarre, like the conventions that it has. So, all right, cool. Let's move on to our next and final story, which is that we finally know Sony has revealed that Australian pricing for their revamped PlayStation Plus service. And what do we think about it? I think we'll just stick to the yearly prices because I don't think we ever subscribe month to month for PlayStation Plus. So
I did, but yeah.
I mean, if we were disseminating information, then I would probably talk about all the pricing.
Maybe let's just go through it.
Someone's looking
Some
it
people
up.
do. Some people
all
do.
right, I'll do it in a simple way.
Yeah,
so tier 1 in Australia, so this is different than overseas, but in Australia, because we don't have the cloud gaming element, so we miss out on PS3. So first tier is PS Plus Essential, which is the existing service, 2 free PS4 games, 1 free PS5 game and game discounts. For 1 month, it's $12. For 3 months, it's $34. And for 12 months, it's $80. That's the standard pricing
The standard
that it is
existing
now.
price. Yep.
Tier 2, PlayStation Plus Extra. So it's all the previous benefits plus 400 downloadable PS4 and PS5 games
Okay.
with the titles yet to be revealed. For 1 month, it's $19. For 3 months, $55. And for 12 months, it's $135. And PS Plus Deluxe. So that's different to PS Plus. What's the other title? I can't remember. It's not Deluxe.
I
Premium
cannot
or something?
remember. Something like that.
Yeah, so for Australia, it's
Titanium.
called Deluxe. And it is
Platinum.
all the previous benefits of those 2 tiers, plus hundreds of PS1, PS2, and PSP classics that can be downloaded. We do not have PS3 games because they are all on the cloud and it's not available in Australia. So for 1 month, it's $22, 3 months, $64, and 12 months, 155 Australian dollaroos. So to compare, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is $192 for 12 months, it's standard price. That compares to PS Plus Deluxe, which is $155.
25% cheaper, give or take.
Yes, no day one releases. That's massive. Like, you cannot understate how massive that is.
I'd say so. And guaranteed first party
Now-
releases as well.
The big piece of news that came out this week that people discovered is essentially what they were saying is, depending on whatever because you can, in America, we don't have this in Australia, but in America, let's say, you have PS Plus and PS Now, right? PS Now is a separate subscription to PS Plus, but they've got this weird system, which is, this is what they're going to say is, if you have PS Plus and PS Now, you get the highest benefit, PS Plus, whatever it's called. It's not Deluxe over there, but it's like PS Plus Ultimate or whatever, right? They will give you the higher of it. So they'll give you the highest tier and they'll look at whichever one is the longest dated and just take it from there. So everyone's like, oh shit, what you need to do is stack as many PS Pluses because it's cheaper.
Well, that's
and
what we
then-
did with gold.
Then
when
sign
Ultimate
up.
came.
No, but it's different, Mike, because gold is like the same thing. It all like, merges onto the same thing, right?
Yeah, but they didn't. They used to have it so you could get gold and then would transfer over to the period, if I recall correctly, for Ultimate. So I stacked a bunch at the start.
It was also maximum of, I think, 3 years.
It's 3 years
Yeah.
for
Like
Xbox.
this, yeah.
But this
That's
is
right.
different.
But
This
it
is
was worth
different.
the
This is
stacking.
different, Mike, because these are separate subscriptions,
Yeah,
right?
it's a bit weird and different.
So
yeah,
people have already had stacked to like, you know how I was saying the other week, it was like some people had stacked it to 2041, right?
yeah.
All you need to do is just sign up to PS Now, and when the service switches over, you'll get the highest tier for like till 2041, right?
Nice.
So people went nuts and they were like, oh shit, I'm gonna like buy a whole bunch. That's what they were doing. They were buying it on Amazon, everything, right? Then they go to redeem it and stack it. And then PlayStation's like, sorry,
But
you can't do that.
How does that work from a legal perspective? Where
Well, the T's and C's.
you bought the
No, the T's and
card,
C's are silent on it. So it's
but
gonna
you
be
bought a product that you can't use anymore.
well, but yeah, they will say you can redeem
That'll
it
work.
when it expires.
Yeah, look, I've not read the
Wow.
T's and C's of this, but that seems like
Interesting.
a gross change in terms.
That's a huge change in terms. I'd be pretty pissed as a
I
consumer.
no, but it
I
doesn't.
get why they did it. To be honest, I get why they did it.
As a business person, it makes
clear
perfect sense
loophole.
why they changed it, right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, why they changed it? But the question is, should they have been allowed to change it without breaking whatever terms they were? Again, I haven't read them, so
Look, I think the right thing that they should have done is said to people, you can't stack anymore, right? then like make the change. But obviously, if they do that, people are going to go and try to stack as many as they can because
Yeah,
they
of course,
know.
before they change. Yeah.
Mass hysteria, dogs and cats
Yeah.
marrying or whatever.
But the thing is, I'm pretty sure I went through the Xbox terms, and I don't think it explicitly says in the terms and conditions you can only stack for 3 years. It's in the FAQs and things like that. So they're also a bit weird on it. And the timing's weird as well.
What happens with... I mean, I've never tried doing more than 3 years. So does it just stop you?
doesn't
Does
work.
it only max out to there? It just doesn't work beyond
Yeah.
that point. You can't redeem the last one.
Yeah, and you got to be careful with the Xbox because if you get like a 1 month subscription and then try to stack 3, it won't work. It'll only allow you to stack 2 1 year.
Yeah.
So you got like
weird.
2 years and 1 month.
I think I'm
but
covered for a while with
That's still live. Like that's what I'm on, and you can still do that trick. So, that's fine. So what it means is once they transfer everyone in the world across this, I think they'll allow stacking again, but they've already said, here's the rates that we'll redeem it at. So it's like, it's people who missed out, it's like a lot of money difference. So,
But I want to know if... So currently, you can... With this essential version of it, you can usually get discounts from JB Hi-Fi. They sometimes run a sale, 25% off, whatever.
Yeah.
I do wonder if they're going to have that for the extra and the deluxe.
100%.
For the yearly thing.
100% they will.
Because that's all right. Then you can use vouchers and you can kind of get that 150 down to maybe 100, which isn't too bad per year when you think
Okay.
about what you get.
So outside of the discounting situation, what do we think about this? Do we think it's like specifically probably that deluxe package? Because we knew that we were
I
getting...
think it's cool.
Well, we knew that we were getting a cut down version of the top tier for international. I know that last time we talked about, hey, look, it depends on what games, so that's still to be determined. We know that some games that have been showing up on the back end that kind of this week and like PSP version of Ridge Race and all these other games.
It's got
Siphon
obvious
Filter.
ones, yeah.
Yeah, Siphon Filter games, but until there's a full list, it's not worth kind of, going piecemeal on that. But just overall, I know, Mike, you've already cut in and said your thoughts.
Sorry, yeah. No, but I'll justify it. It's not just being a dickhead. I think $154 for the full shebang bang, even if you're missing PS3 stuff, isn't that bad when you think about it from a value perspective. That's what, 12 odd bucks a month if you look at it that way. Every month you already get the 2 free PS4 games, although I'm wondering if there's going to be a bit of an overlap between the four. We've spoken about this before. Between the 400
They're going
and
to
the
be
ones
shit
that are
games.
free.
They're going to be shit games.
They're probably going to be shit games, who knows. But hey, you never know. You might get a decent free PS5 game a year, which is still pretty good. Surely in those 400 downloadable games, there's going to be a couple of gems that are worth playing that year for 154 odd bucks. And then, of course, you're talking about multiplayer inclusions to be able to play with friends and all that jazz. I think as a package, for the price of effectively 2 standard games for a whole year worth of gaming, it's not that bad. Again, pending what they have as a catalog, but $154 for that kind of catalog, it sounds all right to me. I don't think it's that bad. Plus, again, if you get discounts on top of that, I think it's a pretty good deal.
I think when I initially saw the price, I'm like, well, that's a lot of money. But then when I started to think about Xbox Game Pass, and I'm like, well, that's also a lot of money. It's obviously more. I think the difficulty for me, and I mentioned this last time, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, is the fact that if you're going to have both, then you really have to question it, I think. Because if you have multiple consoles, then that adds up to, it's getting like 300 and something bucks there. It's pretty crazy. But I am really interested in those PS1, PS2 games. And like PSP, I never had a PSP. So all those games would pretty much be new to me. It's not that bad when I break it down to a monthly cost to purchase per year.
I'd be pretty happy with that. It's Netflix prices, basically. And we're all quitting Netflix because they're going to stop the family thing. So there you go. You got an extra 12 odd bucks per month to use on this.
I have no Netflix family. I'm alone. I'm a Netflix loner.
Oh.
Well, they haven't actually done that yet. That's
not yet. But when they do, then I can switch over to this.
Just wait till Elon Musk buys Netflix and then
Yeah,
he'll
that's right.
scrap that.
Puts all right wing, puts Ben Shapiro on the front page.
Yeah, what do you think it's got price wise?
Yeah, look,
value
like
for money. Because you hate. So just to clarify,
wait,
to
let me
listening,
say my statement.
You hate Game Pass.
Let me say. I can mute you on my end. Let me state what I believe. Right. So, firstly, for me, the discounts, getting it for cheaper is incorporated in my analysis of it. Right. So I've got Game Pass Ultimate. It's like about $50 Australian a year. That's what I've got it for, right?
It's crazy cheap.
That's insanely cheap. Like in American money, that's like funny money, right? It's like
$35 or something.
yeah, it's about 35 to 40 US dollars a year.
The reason why I didn't want to say it is because I wanted to, for the general people that aren't going to probably go through those jump through those hoops to get those. That's why I wanted to kind of base it on that. But that's fine.
No, but like I guess it's important for me to say that because it's like I'm even getting it for like a third of the price that you actually have to pay for Game Pass, right? I think that's a material thing to say that I just realized it's not for me. Like I could play It Takes Two through Game Pass, but I find the PC Game Pass to be a pain in the ass. And I just went and bought It Takes Two. I'm going to try to convince one of you bastards to play it with me.
On PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation.
But I mean, it makes sense because you don't have an Xbox, so that makes
yeah, but I've got
sense.
a PC, right?
Yeah, but it's a different. I think it's not that you're getting half of the package because it's not. It's worth more than that. But I find, for example, with Game Pass, I'm more likely to use my Xbox for those games.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
And I don't know why. I actually don't know why. I can't rationalize it. I just tend to just play them more on the TV.
But ultimately,
so it's worth more money that way.
Ultimately, for me, it's just like I like to go, okay, this is the game I want to play, get it, rather than having a small selection that's selected for me. Even though it's like, to be fair, very comprehensive. Like if all you played was Game Pass games, you're covering a lot of genres, a lot of different types of games, good quality games, and then day one games, right? Starfield, that's amazing. Like I'll play Starfield on the PC for sure, right? With the PlayStation one, I think I got it for like $50, PlayStation Plus. Paying double that, like I'm guessing I think Mike's right. We'll be able to get it for around 110 Australian dollars. I wouldn't get that. Like I don't think it's worth it for me. Like I know it's illegal, but I think I'd just go and play like a PlayStation 1 game on emulator if I was really like dedicated to doing that, you know. And the games that I want to play, I'm guessing aren't going to be on there, and we still don't know. But stuff like Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2, like I'd love to go back and play those games.
I just can't get them on 360.
I think there's a good chance those games eventually, once they clear up the issues around the licensing thing that they had to kind of deal with, I reckon those will show up.
Yeah, maybe. And then with the PlayStation 4 tier, like the middle tier, to me it's like, what's the point? I've already got so many PlayStation 4 and 5 games that
probably have the ones you really want to play.
Yeah,
anyway.
correct.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
So probably PlayStation, PSP is the most interesting to me, followed by the PS2. And I really wish the PS3 was there because there's still PS3 games I'd want to play that I don't have copies of and they're not easy to get in Australia. But, you know, maybe they're working on that to make the emulator work on the PS5's powerful enough to have PS3 games run on it. Sure. It's just a lot of work, and whether Sony wants to do that, I'm not sure. But look, I think it's going to be successful, but it's not like what Xbox is doing where they're going full on, like, this is our business now. Like, so I don't see it succeeding in that way that Game Pass will. I think Game Pass is a way better deal. Like, getting day one games is insane. And, like, you know, it hasn't happened yet, but there will be great games that come out on Game Pass in the next couple of years that will be day one free. That's just like...
They still were, if it depends what you're into. If you're into Gears of War, for example, that came out day one.
Forza Horizon, genre, very good.
Horizon, yeah. There's a few titles like that.
Not that many at this stage. But I'm to be fair to Microsoft, you know, I do believe that, yeah, the games will start coming, given the studios they've bought, right? Like the next id game is going to be free on Game Pass. That's sick.
That's what I mean.
That's insane. That's just like a must-play game.
What I
right?
think is ultimately insane is that, you know, for $55 or whatever you paid, not only do you get Forza Horizon 5 for $55, which is cheaper than actually buying it retail anywhere else, you then get the entire catalog on top of that. So I think that's where the amazing value comes from, that all it takes is one game at that price per year, and everything else is just a bonus. And that's just for 1 year. Like, that's a month worth of gaming. So I think it's, to me, it's actually amazingly good value. Like, I could, if I didn't have specific games I wanted to play, the way you're doing it, Swinny, how you're playing through the Game Pass catalog, there's so many bloody good games that I could literally go through the entire year and only play Game Pass games.
There's also trash as well. So
of course,
let's
there's
not forget the
trash.
trash.
No, absolutely. But I'm saying there's still really cool, awesome titles. Like, for example, Fallout 4. I never really played it, never finished it properly. I could play that for months.
I know we said it before, but June 22nd is when this is out in Australia. Okay. So are you going to sign up, Swinny? Because you don't even have PS Plus right now.
Yeah.
No, so that's the thing is, it really depends on the catalog. That's ultimately my decision point. It will be the catalog. I'm really interested to see what PS2 games they put on there, and I'm not like I don't want your GTA's. It's like they're all games I've played so much. I'm interested in. Are they going to put some RPGs that I've never played on the PS2? You know, like because they never came out in Australia. You know, a lot of even in the PS2
sense.
era, like there's still a lot of stuff that never came out here. So
I have to say, it makes so much sense for you. Like, it makes an incredible amount of sense because, you know, Returnal's going to be on it, Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Like, there's a whole bunch of games that are going to be on it that you haven't bought, and, you know, they'll be there as part of the subscription. So
there's a very good chance I'll probably end up jumping on it.
yeah, I'd rate the odds, the market around it. You'll be the first to jump on it.
I reckon because I'm
And
not
then
getting it.
Mike will get it the next day, saying
No,
that
I'm
he
not
won't
getting
get
it.
it.
No, legit. I don't. There's gonna have to be something really,
All
really.
right, we'll see.
No,
Mike,
but because I
Mike,
still
you bought
have...
Pokemon Arceus, all right?
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I
Can't
learned my
believe you
lesson,
bought
all right?
that. Did you
That was
return
the
that, by the way?
lesson. Of course I did. That was the lesson I
Okay.
learned. So,
believe
but
you
you know,
bought that.
but here's the funny thing. I made money out of that game by returning it. So
I
whatever.
made money out of the game.
I did. Because the games I traded in, I got money more back for the games that I traded in
got
than what I
money more
bought this
back.
game for.
That's the episode title.
I don't know, not Catboy, but Cat Dog Podcast.
I really don't
Okay.
see why, because I still have you can remember this timestamp for whenever this comes out. I still haven't played God of War. I still haven't played Detroit Become Human. There's all
Okay,
these
I'm
games that I
hearing you.
have that are free. The Last Guardian, etc., which are probably the major games you want to play on PlayStation 4, etc. Anyway, and let's be honest, nostalgia aside, I don't really give a shit about PS1 and PS2 games anymore. There's nothing that maybe I'll boot up Gran Turismo 1 and 2 just for kicks, but I
Like
don't
Jim
really
Ryan.
care. Huh?
You said you should work for Sony HQ.
Mike Ryan. Mike Ryan.
Maybe, but I
Mike
just
Ryan.
don't. No,
You're
no.
his
I
son.
think there's a market for it. Absolutely. It's just personally, there's way too much other stuff out there to play for me to go back and play those games
Yeah,
again.
why play Gran Turismo on PS1 when you can play Gran Turismo 7,
Number
right?
7. Well, probably because there's no microtransactions in number 1. So I'd probably.
heard that-
Plus, it's got more actual cars that I like.
So I'm not following it closely, but I've heard that they've made massive changes in GT7.
They have. I think they've
That people are
improved it, yeah.
basically like, they're pretty happy with how it is.
Yeah,
now.
but it's too late for me. I don't.
Too late. It's just like a month after it came out.
No,
but
it doesn't
okay.
matter. No, to me they burnt me. Like they can go
Ooh.
get fucked.
Ooh. Ooh.
I don't. No, because their intentions clearly come from a bad place originally, and I'm not going to sit there and give them my money anymore for something
So
like that.
I
I'll
want
go
you to
play
say
Forza.
there's no chance you're going to get this.
No, I'm not going to say that because there is a chance. There is a chance that I can borrow it from someone for free or something like
No,
that. and
no.
then I
I'm talking about
give them any of my money.
PlayStation Plus Deluxe.
There is very minimal chance I'm going to get it when it
You
comes
said you're not
out.
getting it.
Wait, when it comes out, because that's when you asked me.
Yeah. Okay. So you're
Like,
not getting
I don't know
it.
what's going to happen 2 years from now, a
Okay.
year
So
from now.
you're just
I
saying you're
might
not getting
get
it when it comes out. Okay. Good.
Mike will
Absolutely
buy
not,
about
no.
20 games, trade in 5, get 3 back, trade those in, and then he'll somehow get some PlayStation cards, and then he'll get it for like $10.
Or that.
It's 155 per year, and then JB or EB will do a sale. It's
pay
like
me
130, 135, and he goes, "Well, it's basically free, so I had to get it."
No. I'll find a way for them to basically pay me to go get it.
I could stack it, reverse stack it, call up
I'll
customer
reverse stack it
service.
somehow. Like when I bought my PlayStation 4 for like $30.
All right, let's get on to the famous segment.
Ah, my favorite.
One Min for the Swin. So we wrap up the news, all the news that we're not going to cover specifically. And Swinny will cover it all in 1 minute. We're up to 193 words now, Swinny. Adding 1 word per week until you fail.
Heat is on.
But
Just under-
he's been smashing it, so...
Just under
it's-
2 months until we get to the level that Mike was going at for months.
And then Mike takes it over again. But Mike, what is your starting point? Are you going to start at
I wanna
190
take it over
words?
again. Yeah, I feel like we need to start higher up.
Yeah, I think if it goes back to you as well, Swinny, we need to start at
180
190.
is way too easy.
Yeah, it's way too easy for I'm bad. I need like 140 or something
Yeah.
like that.
And unlike me, Swinny's not dyslexic, and he's a native English speaker, so I think he's fine.
I was going to say native. I'm like, oh yeah, you're not a native English speaker. That's true. All right, Swinny, whenever you're ready, we'll start the counter.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has been officially announced with a full reveal due next week. Blizzard will also reveal their mobile Warcraft game next week. 2K are reportedly working on a Rocket League clone with bikes instead of cars called Gravity Goal. Diablo Immortal launches in open beta on 2nd of June for mobile and PC. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection is also coming to PC in June. Naoki Yoshida has revealed that Final Fantasy XVI development is in the final stretch. The Xbox and Bethesda game showcase has been confirmed for June. 6 minutes of test footage for Ubisoft's Skull and Bones is leaked online. Sony reportedly now requires some PlayStation developers to make time-limited game trials. And the PlayStation 5 is finally getting variable refresh rate support this week. Super Mario themed film has been delayed from this December to April next year, while Sonic 2 is now the all-time highest-grossing video game movie in the US, surpassing the first Sonic film. Reggie Fils-Aimé has said he's a believer in blockchain and will monetize his Animal Crossing Island if it's good. And finally, the legendary Kirby celebrated his 30th birthday.
Oh,
Wow,
too
10
easy.
seconds left. Holy crap.
this is going to go on forever, man.
I
That's well done.
I got to fail this one on purpose.
Well,
was too easy.
I think you did fail it. You said 2K reportedly working on it. You skipped the R, so
I
technically.
think I actually said an extra word later, so I can't remember what
I
line
think you
it
did
was.
actually. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So
Reggie,
you missed
Reggie,
one word.
Reggie. Dude.
I'm just like, we need more words in there.
Now, Reggie did clarify, him saying
Okay.
he believed in blockchain. No, he was talking basically that he believes the way that it's kind of being positioned at the moment is just like making money for the developers, not anything of benefit to players. So it has to be like designed around that. But the fact that he said he'd like to be able to sell his Animal Crossing Island if he could is kind of wild to me. So
But I think he was being a bit flippant when he was saying that.
probably
right?
with that one, yeah.
Yeah,
hope so.
like totally. I'm a believer in blockchain, but I think the NFT thing is like dying in a ditch as it should. Like my favorite was, Jack Dorsey's first tweet. It sold for millions.
And then for $250.
Yeah, they tried to sell it for 45 million. I think it sold for $4,000 US dollars.
No,
or something.
I thought it was $253.
Nah, I think there was
Wasn't
some
it some
further
ridiculously
bids.
low.
Nah, there were some bids.
Ah, there were
lower
further
than
bids.
that,
Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
but like in the orders of magnitude.
Still, whatever. It's
the person
peanuts,
lost
yeah.
millions on
Exactly.
this NFT. It's
Oh, no.
unbelievably crazy. And there was also an NFT heist recently that people lost all their money. And
Yeah,
there was
saw
another
that.
one that was awesome where they had a rule where it's like if 2/3 of the block voted for something, they could change the rules. So someone borrowed all this money, bought 2/3 of like the items, and then changed the rule to say all the items are owned by me. So everyone lost their ownership. The other 1/3 of people lost their ownership in the items.
You know something. Something
I like
is. Something is abhorrent when people get completely royally screwed over in ways that are. I know the legality of this is all up in the air, but in completely illegal ways, or what you'd assume is illegal ways, and no one cares. Everyone's like, "Well,
F you. F
that's
you,
what you
yeah.
did. You got in there."
It's true.
Hey.
That's true.
Okay, what if? Hear me out. What if we make
Bigwig
NFTs of-
NFTs.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
look, the little potties, they're perfect for
They
NFT.
are actually NFTs like
Try my... There we go.
Potty apes.
Potty Apes. I was super disappointed about the Super Mario movie getting delayed. And I'm getting more and more nervous about that movie as well. Like, I think the people who are making it are not like... It's not like a slam dunk, the studio behind it. So the folks behind Despicable Me and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, oh.
Oh, the original Despicable Me was pretty good.
That's
liked
a
it.
good studio. If you're not getting Pixar wouldn't do it, but if you're not getting level that, I think Illumination a good fit. But about the Sonic 2 movie, God, that has been such a home run. Like my nephew is now obsessed with Sonic, and like so much so that I actually got him Sonic Colors.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
But it's like Sonic is just such a good thing for kids. It's wild because Sonic hasn't been at the top like Mario all this time, but the fact that he still resonates so well with kids is kind
An
of
underdog.
wild, so.
Can I just... this is wildly inappropriate, but I do find it funny that the people that kept Sonic alive are the furries. And now, now Sonic is revitalized. But Sonic may have died in a ditch if it wasn't for the furry community. So we should, acknowledge the furry community kept Sonic alive and going.
I have no issue
Okay.
with the furry community as long as they keep it
Yeah.
clean. As long as they keep it clean, that's all.
Oh, they don't like
Or
keeping it
keep it
clean,
between
that's for sure.
themselves. I don't know.
And that's only a subset of that community.
Whatever. Each to their own.
And the other thing I wanted to point out was...
Don't hurt anyone else. Let them be happy.
Oh no, dude! I'm not knocking it. I'm like
I know,
actually
I know,
celebrating
I know.
them. I'm saying they kept it alive. The variable refresh rate on the PS5 is massive to me. Like it
Do you have
literally makes
but
me
wait,
go.
you don't have a TV that does that.
No,
do
but
you?
I've been waiting because I'm like, what's the point of getting it unless the PS5 can do it? Like no other console I have
Yeah,
needs
good
it.
point.
Right? It makes no sense.
Because you were talking about getting a C1 or something, weren't you?
Yeah, well, and I did a whole bunch of research the last week
The
around
C2 shit.
the C2, and the C2 is super disappointing. There's like heaps of issues with it, like, and there's extra lag. So to me, it's like for a TV, they're kind of marketing a little bit to gamers, you know, because they're calling out features to have like that's such a no-brainer. You have to make sure that you're not adding lag between generations.
Oh, totally.
And they can
biggest
update it
thing.
with firmware and stuff like that. But to me, it's like, I don't trust that. I'll never like go into a TV expecting an upgrade in the firmware. Like that.
Yeah, neither.
That's
Man,
insane.
I
So-
bought a TV back in, what is it, 3 years ago? No, more than that. It's got to be about, 3.5 years ago or something. No firmware updates. Had a firmware update 2 weeks ago. I'm like, what the hell did they update? It's a Hisense.
Oh, that's
Did you get one
weird.
too? I'm
No.
like, what the hell
No,
are
I
they
was gonna
updating
say-
this late?
I got a Sony TV recently, not an OLED, just a regular one, and man, I get so many updates on it. It's updated like 6 times,
Wow.
and I have not noticed one single thing better.
TV.
Or yeah, exactly.
Usually it isn't. It's like bugs and crashes.
Yeah.
I don't even know what they update, to be honest.
I think they also update some of the stuff they want to like sell on it. Because
Maybe,
these smart TVs have got like a lot of BS, like subscriptions
yeah.
and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So
I miss my old Sony and it had none of that stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
it didn't even connect to the internet.
and I think it's also seeing Swinny, because I visited his place. He's got a C1 65-inch, I believe.
Really nice.
I'm like, yeah, it's a pretty nice TV.
Bee's
And just with the
knees.
kids and stuff, they're always downstairs. And they like have movies and stuff, and I can't bloody watch my sports or just play games or whatever. We've got a huge place, so I'm like, maybe I'll properly set up upstairs to have the TV.
Do a cinema room
Nah,
dedicated to just that. Pad the walls out,
I
painted
don't wanna do
black.
nah. When
Get
we
some
when we
5.1.
when we got crazy in lockdown, I did actually measure the room to put like cinema seating in to one of the rooms. I'm like,
Hell
I
yeah.
could put an elevated platform here.
Yeah,
So
and you
I'm
can do that all
nah.
yourself.
No, I'm not gonna do any
Even
of
the
that crap.
carpeting you could do yourself.
So I am gonna keep my eye out for a C1, but I'm just debating about
Not
the
a C2.
size.
Wait, do they still make the C1s?
Yeah,
Alongside the C2s?
They're still manufacturing
So what's
them.
the advantage of the C2 over the C1 on paper?
I think the HDR is better, and there's
Okay.
a few other features. But it's not a
One
massive
higher,
leap.
Mike. It's one higher.
It's one higher. Okay, fair enough.
It's not a massive leap. So
Twice as good.
I'm trying to keep my eye out. Like, could I get a 77-inch or something like that? It's crazy how much.
I think you can get a 77-inch.
Because you got a 65-inch, right, Swinny?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy the price difference, man. Because like
How much?
65 inches have been on sale for like about 2,800 recently.
Okay. Yeah,
I paid a lot more than that when they came out.
But the 77, they're still trading for like $5,000 basically. I'm like,
What?
bloody hell.
Not worth it. You can get
Yeah,
two
65
bloody
to 77 is
65s.
not like a massive.
You notice the difference, but I don't think
yeah.
it's worth the price difference. Absolutely
I
not.
think we've got a 75-inch downstairs from memory. 70-inch
Hmm.
maybe? I don't know.
You know what I'm interested in? Although I
There's
think
an
for gaming-
83-inch. Maybe I could get
Yeah,
an 83
you'd have to
inch.
get a jump like that.
That
But even
would
then,
be insane.
unless it's around the 5K mark, which is still a lot for a bloody TV.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
At
But what
that point, it owns the room. It's not like part of the room. It literally is the room.
Well, if you got a
80
TV like that.
but not really. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, sheesh.
what I am interested in is Hisense make a laser projector. So it's a short throw laser
I don't know how this
projector.
is gone like so off topic. But
I
go
have
on,
no
go
idea.
on.
But it's a short throw laser projector, so
Yeah.
basically sits really close to the wall. You're
I'm
actually
not a big fan of
projecting
those, but
onto.
yeah, go on.
But you get 100 inches for like 2.5K or something.
So what you're saying, Mike, you could do
Not
that.
as good image quality, but it's pretty cool.
You could do that, and that means you've got extra space for all the arcade one-up cabinets you can put along the wall.
Inside, yeah, exactly. So much shit I could do. But now I was considering something like that as a next purchase.
Well, but
Once
not
they
for
refine the
gaming.
tech.
Projectors are terrible for gaming.
It's different. It's laser throw projector.
doesn't
It's not
matter.
a standard type of projector, but
The
I
latency
don't
on them
think
is
it's
nuts.
something I would get for that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you want it for movies, I've got a friend who that's their job, like just to install and like do all that kind
Okay.
of stuff. So
Hook
they
me
can,
up.
yeah, like he's mad on projectors, but for movies, not for games.
Yeah, just for movies. I wouldn't use a projector for
He has it
normal
in his
stuff.
room.
Yeah.
his bedroom. Like this one that goes on the whole wall.
Project on the whole wall.
Yeah.
But you know
It's
what? I
kinda
did that.
insane.
I actually did that in my old place. I had one sitting on the bed behind me, and just for casual stuff and casual viewing, casual gaming.
Yeah, that's
was
what.
awesome.
Yeah, you're just
And
watching
dude, this
casual
thing-
stuff in your bedroom. That's
No,
right.
my girlfriend and stuff was there too, and this thing was a cheap thing I got from Amazon. But for Switch games and that kind of stuff, it's perfect. You don't really you don't care about lag and shit as much. It was
That's
awesome.
true. All right, let's go to the review. So Nintendo has brought back their successor to the Wii Sports series called Nintendo Switch Sports. So as the resident sports fan on the show and only sports fan, what do I think about Nintendo Switch Sports? So I'll keep it brief. To me, like I'll TLDR this. If you like Wii Sports, thought Wii Sports was cool, enjoyed it, you'll like this. Get this. Absolutely highly recommend getting this.
Review over. Goodbye,
Pretty much,
everyone.
you can skip the review now. We care about your time on Bigwig, right? Now, if you're on the fence about Wii Sports, it's a bit questionable, this game. Like, if you're not into Wii Sports, don't get this game. Now, if you're not sure, the way I look at this is, if you're looking for a party game, if you're sort of like, Smash Brothers, great party game, Mario Party, all these kind of Switch party games, to me, this is a great party game if you have a lot of people, like, in a lot of parties and you like to play games, because it's a good mix-up. And there's a lot of really fun games in this. It's 6 games on launch. They're adding golf in, which I'm actually really looking forward to, in, I think, September this year, August, September. And then potentially further sports down the line. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like DLC, which will piss people off.
I'm glad to hear that, because as someone that has not played this game, the one thing that spoke out to me when I was looking this up and looking at what this game had to it was the fact that there was only 6 sports. And I know that is not like the original Wii Sports and everything, but I still think of the original Wii Sports as a pack-in, so it kind of made sense. This, to me, is like, in this day and age, just felt like it just should have had more. So it's glad to hear that they're adding some stuff.
Yeah, well, at least one, which I don't think is super substantial. And look, like, I'll start the review in proper. Like, I differ from a lot of people's perspective on this. Like, I really like this. I think this is a really good package, but I probably think about things differently than people. Like, on the comment around the amount of sports, to me, even watching people play Wii Sports, there was kind of like, it really was dominated by tennis and bowling. And some of the other sports that were a bit hit and miss. And I didn't see people, like, I'd go to heaps of people's places, everyone would just play tennis and bowling. So to me, I'm fine if they only have a minimal set of sports as long as they execute them really well. And the thing here is, like, all 6 sports are executed very, very well. And they're very, like, they're different. I know that, like, people argue, especially with, like, the racket stuff, it's, like, super similar, which I don't find personally. Like, the badminton and tennis, to me, like, feel really different. I understand that they're racket sports, but I don't know. I feel like they're different personally. But the one that was new to this is soccer. And the soccer in this is freaking awesome. It's, like, amazing. Like, it actually literally blows me away. It's super. It's, like, as arcadey as you could ever possibly get a sports game. Like, you were running around with, this variant of a Mii, and you actually have to use 2 JoyCons for this. So you actually have to use the left analog stick, which feels kind of weird in these kind of games, but you're using the left analog stick to actually move around, like move your character. It's not motion, that part of it, but the actual kicking and heading the ball and all that kind of stuff is using motion. And so I played all of the games, like, pretty much as I could on each one on average. But this one, to me, because it was new and just the way they did it, because it's like a fresh look at it, it was, like, awesome. And the only criticism I'd probably have, and I always have this of Nintendo, is it's the same as Smash Brothers. Like, I kind of wish sometimes they would just throw everything, all the history out of the prior games and try to rethink what they would do with them. Because, like, bowling is, like, 100% like bowling in the Wii version of bowling. The one change on that is super awesome, and I called this out when I did the online test, is it's like almost like not a battle royale, that's a stupid way to say it, but it's a survival version of bowling that you play online. So you have 12 players, and then about half of them, or like a third of them, are eliminated each round. So it's like 3 sets in the rounds, and it's actually like super entertaining and competitive, and like it adds so much to it because I was playing it a few times. I've won a few, and then like sometimes you're like right on the edge, and you're like, oh shit, I need to get like a strike, or else I'm out. Like I'm gonna get eliminated. So it does add something to it, and it's super entertaining. I think
That's pretty cool.
I think the survival bowling and the soccer are, to me, by far the standouts. The volleyball is like super awesome in it. Tennis is always cool in it. And then in badminton as well. I'm missing one of the sports. One of the sports is
It's
the
the
Canberra.
sword fighting one.
Yeah, the sword fighting one.
Yeah.
The sword fighting one's really cool. So I was playing that with my son, my 4.5-year-old, and like he liked that one because it's just like, you know, you're sword fighting. He's like really intense and getting into it and stuff.
I like they've got a version that has the 2 swords.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
2 JoyCons.
And it's so weird because he's not seen Star Wars, but it's amazing how much that infiltrates the culture. He's like, oh, this is my lightsaber. This is my lightsaber. I'm like, where are you even getting this from? Like, I've not shown you these movies yet because I want to save them for him. But that's really cool. But like I said, I think the standouts definitely are the soccer by a million miles. And survival bowling is just really cool. I think golf will be really cool. Just seeing some of the clips on what they're showing, it's going to be. I think that's going to work out well.
Damn,
So
I didn't
Have
join
you-
just for that.
Have you tried the kickoff mode or whatever the
No.
So that's where you can use the strap,
leg
and
strap.
they give you the leg strap, the physical version, don't they?
Yeah, so if you have... So it's kind of an interesting one. I wanted to get an extra leg strap because I have... what is it called? Ring Fit Adventure.
Yeah.
So Ring Fit Adventure comes with a leg strap and then the ring, the sort of, calisthenic style ring that they give you with it. The leg strap's exactly the same. So I just wanted a backup leg strap. Otherwise, I think for most people, you probably just get the digital version because then it's just on your Switch and you don't have to like put in the cart and everything like that. But I did want a backup one. So yeah, you're right. It comes with it. It's not like full freight like in Australia. I think it's not $60 in the States either. I think it's like 50 or 40 US dollars.
I heard they potentially may add in using that for the main soccer mode as well. It's not like
really?
Yeah, I've heard that may potentially get added in an update. So
Yeah, and then you also have like the online on this was shockingly good for a Nintendo game. Like I played a bunch of it and I was like, that's kind of weird. Like I haven't had any issues. And at first I was like, are these bots? I think it's bots at the start just to kick you off. But it definitely was playing against real people because what ended up happening was, given the hours I was playing in, it was just full of Japanese people. It was like all their names were Japanese and the titles were Japanese as well. I'm like, it's unlikely Nintendo's going to fill it up with bots that are Japanese writing and titles. That just doesn't seem like it would make sense. And the way that they were interacting and stuff just didn't feel like bots.
you suck, Miguel.
Yeah. So sports, massive highlight. Now, one of my biggest criticisms of this game is there's a whole bunch of customization, and I'm okay with the way that they've done the customization. You can't unlock everything on day one. So it's very much a wanting to keep you engaged model. So
like Mario Maker 1 style, isn't it?
yeah, a bit like that. Yeah. So, and Mike, you would hate this type of system, but essentially the more you play, you earn points. You earn about anywhere from 30 if you've just bombed out to 110 points per game you play, right?
Okay.
And you need 100 points to then pick, like you don't get to pick. There's like basically 2 sets of items that you can pick from. If you pick one, it then randomly just goes and picks an item that you get, right? The good thing is it doesn't like ever land on those items again and like, dodge you or anything like that. But those sets of items, they have a countdown. So currently it's about 2 weeks. And I think standard, like they're going to make it so it's every 3 weeks or something like that.
Okay.
So if you do not get these items, what they're saying is you might not get them for like 12 months or 6 months or whatever. So
Okay.
you kind of
Wow.
like have to keep playing the game.
Why? Just to get you to keep playing the
Yeah,
game?
and honestly, I don't mind that. I don't mind when games do
Why?
this kind of stuff because they're trying to keep you engaged, and it's like it's like
You get
Splatoon.
engaged because the game's a good game, not because some
Yeah,
bullshit incentive.
look,
Nah, I hate that idea. No, honestly though, I also don't give a shit about customization of my character and stuff. I'll just pick whatever
well
people
then
think
it doesn't
comes
bother you
with.
then.
But just the principle behind it is shit. Because if you make a good game, you make a good game and people play it because it's a good game, not because you incentivize them with nonsense.
Yeah, but I think like the biggest difference is number one, it's not like loot boxes where you can get the same crap multiple times over and over again, and you're not paying for it, right? So it's like you just get these things.
I know,
right?
but just the randomization in it, it's stupid. It's so needless. And it's not the kind of game that I think you need to keep people hooked on unless there's microtransactions in it or there's an incentive for you to make some money back out of it. People should play it however they want to play it, when they want to play it.
But you can still do that.
Yeah, I think, was it Wii Sports Resort? I think it was, had more of a like an actual like traditional progression system where you like master things. So I think they've obviously gone for a different approach with this, like more of like a modern approach, better or worse, depending on how you take
Now,
that. So.
now I don't mind it, right? It doesn't bother me. But the one thing about it that I do think is bad, and this is my biggest criticism of the game in general, is that you can only earn these points and then get the items to customize by playing online. So if you play this at parties with lots of friends for hours and hours and hours, you earn jack shit, like zero, nothing. I think that's not right. But I can kind of see the problem that they're in, because I think it isn't necessarily just all in the game, all baked in. Maybe it is. Maybe all the items are already there. But I think there's a possibility it's going to be like updates and actually send you the content. So theoretically, maybe you need to have the online to be able to bring that stuff in. I don't know
Fair
how
enough
much
for
that
that,
I
works,
mean,
but-
that's just a software update.
Yeah, maybe you're
For
right.
any
yeah.
normal update, they could do it as that.
Yeah, that's my biggest criticism of the game. I just think that was totally unnecessary. I don't know why. Like, I understand the business side of it, but it doesn't feel like a very Nintendo-y thing, because it's not really like an essential thing. It's not like Splatoon 2, where it's like, of course you need people to play in the Splatfest. You're playing against people. It's all inherently integrated, and it makes sense in that universe and that world.
Do we think it's because they wanted to have a healthier online audience?
Oh,
for the
100%.
launch period, like, because I could see this.
I think
game-
ongoing as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it'll obviously people be playing online at first, but it's that ongoing thing.
Yeah, no, I think, like, to your point, Mike, I think the thing is with these type of games, you know, and just games in general, just there's so many online games that you do get into issues where you just don't have enough players to play, right? So having some kind of incentive, you know, with like Splatoon, having the Splatfests where people all jump back in and play, and you can get a game really quickly in that period of time, that sort of, you know, allows for, you know, people to come back and, you know, to have healthy lobbies and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like, I'm not going to be religious about it and try to get every single item. But, you know, like, this is 100% a game that I'm going to, you know, jump on and play from time to time. And, like, I know, like, I'm super unfit these days, but, you know, like, it does get you up and moving a bit. And, like, it was one point I was playing a heap, right? And I'm like, damn, I'm actually getting, like, tired from playing. I'm like, damn, this is, like, it's crazy. It's just a stupid game.
I remember watching like Wii Sports speedrunners and just thinking like, what a weird thing to speedrun in terms of having to actually do physical activity like that. But the one thing I was going to ask, that's right. So there's already been like, there was a clip out there of someone not wearing their wrist strap and actually wrecking their TV again. It's like,
awesome.
we're back in like 2006 or whatever
Here
it was.
we go again.
Oh, it's and those JoyCons, I guess they're a bit lighter than a Wii mode.
But still, man, it's
Yeah, but the
within our
TVs are way
force.
more fragile, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird thing about TVs. They're so thin now. If you actually knock them at all, you can easily stuff them up really quickly.
And the side, yeah.
So, and the thing is, when you use the Joy-Cons like this, you usually put that extra piece on it normally, so it makes it even heavier. And I've already said, so, you know, my wife's dad, who's almost like a character on the show, because he's the one with the Oculus, right? He's a real nutty person. I got to send you some videos that I've got of him. He's like very individual, right? He's a very unique character.
Like Mike.
I like this guy.
He is like
very individual, very individual.
No, this guy's an amazing person, right? Like, this is not even bullshit. He used to be a lecturer at like one of the best universities in Hong Kong, and he literally, like, he's an electrical engineer by trade, or like by learning. He developed the schematics that went into the very first laptop ever.
Wow.
Like he literally had like he had some of it. Like his bloody name's in a patent and everything. He's like,
Sheesh.
he's a very like super smart guy, and he's also super like dumb in other ways, right? It's just like very distinct. And
Just like Mike.
I said to my wife, because he loves this kind of stuff. He loves gimmicky shit.
Hey, I
like
said
this.
sorry. I said you're very smart, Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
Also very stupid. Thanks.
I said to my wife,
Sorry, he says this is wearing an octopus on his head.
I know. So I already said to my wife, because I know he'll want to play this. I'm like, he's not allowed to play it unless I see him tighten the wrist strap. Like he is 1,000% the person that will smash it. He's done stuff like that before, where he's almost smashed my stuff, right? Like he's dropped my Switch, everything. It's crazy. And I'm like, he has to wear the wrist strap. I will like go crazy. He drove on my lawn today. It's like huge drive mark, like tire marks on my lawn. And then he's like, hey, don't step on the lawn because you'll wreck the lawn if you step on it. I'm like, you've driven on the bloody lawn with a car. What are you talking about, you maniac? So yeah, like, and look, like just to summarize, I like this game. I think it's very easy to focus on. That it probably should have a few more sports in it. Yes. That I guess you could reinvent them a lot because they're very similar to what they were before. But I don't know. I really like it. I think for the purpose it serves, it's very good. I think this is a game that's incredibly hard to rate. Like for me, this is exactly where the rating system doesn't make sense. Because if I was rating this as a party game, I'd say it's 5 out of 5.
So, 5 out of 5 for it. That seems, I guess.
It's a good party game. It's a good party game.
But my question is, so I know you can get it cheaper, I'm sure, but this is a $70 game.
No,
Do you
no.
think this?
No, it's 60, 59
It's
bucks.
cheap.
It's literally $70 on EB Games.
Yeah, but
the
EB is
moment.
like always the most expensive. That's like
That's
that's all right.
that's
Yeah,
why I
I
went to
guess,
EB. That's
yeah.
why I went to EB because it's RRP.
Yeah, all
Generally.
right, fair enough. Yeah.
Do you think this is worth that amount of money for this?
But 79 is still a
70, I said, not 70.
70. Sorry, is still a
It's cheaper,
budget
yeah.
game
It is.
because PS5
that's
games are 125.
I know, but that's
if you
why
look
I'm
at it that way.
no, yeah, but forget PS5. I'm asking, like, do you think this is actually worth?
it is
that
worth
amount of
the $59 that I spent at JB Hi-Fi.
Okay.
Now, I wouldn't have spent. How much did you say?
69?
69?
It's 69.
69. On the fence.
You wouldn't have spent an extra $10.
Dude, that's the way I operate. I'm like, it doesn't.
And that's why I actually asked because
Yeah,
like,
that's why he's rich and we're
they're
not.
They're not. That's the same price that I'm seeing Kirby as well. So it's not like the position.
Yeah,
is
see,
as a
Kirby,
super
I would
budget
not.
game.
I would not. Well, is Kirby a budget game?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think they're pricing this as a budget game. So
Oh, it's definitely priced as a budget game, even with EB.
I feel like it's in
a budget
between
game.
a budget game and a normal game.
I think
anyway, like the semantics at that point, like it's $70 on EB, 60 JB. Do you think it's worth
It's
either
a
of those?
budget game.
no, I don't think it's worth. It's not. I don't think it's
$70.
worth 69. I might get it, but I'll be annoyed. Yeah,
Alright, that's all. Well,
Definitely
it's
worth
just
59. If you want to, like, because to me, like, we'll have people over, kids and stuff, and this is a great game to put on. Like, it's a really, really fun game. Yeah, but I wouldn't be spending much more than that. Maybe I would. Maybe I would get it. If everywhere was 69.
55?
No, I have to say, I would probably get it. Yeah, okay. It's hard for me to judge because the thing is, everywhere has sold it apart from EB for like 59-ish,
Yeah.
right?
Harvey Norman, 49, and you get a $20 voucher.
Is it
but
49?
It was, but it's
Bloody
sold out
Harvey
now.
Norman. Sheesh.
Yeah.
Really? It was 49
It was
at Harvey
49, and I
Norman?
believe you also got a $20
Integot's like, I've got to go price match and return or get the
Voucher
receipt.
as well.
How long for? Like for 5 seconds?
Don't
Because sometimes
remember.
those Harvey Norman things are like 3 stores that you
I
send
don't
me.
remember. I saw it and I'm like, yeah.
Mike's
should I
like,
get
oh,
it?
you can
Should
jump
get
on
it?
this. And
I'm
then I
like,
check
I'm not gonna
it. 3
play
stores.
this.
3 stores in Australia. Yeah, I'm not
Play
really.
it. And,
guess you
yeah,
got it-
$20 voucher as well, so technically 29, but yeah.
I guess you got to factor in you wanted a spare leg strap as well, so that's probably like $5 there or something.
Yeah, well, if you get a replacement one, it's like 20
So now,
bucks or
now he's
something,
pissed
so-
off.
Wow,
Now he's
20,
pissed off
sheesh.
because there was a cheaper alternative. Now he's like, worst game ever. 3 out of 5. I
But yeah,
don't want
if I
it.
try to do the maths in my head of like if every place was selling it for 69, I would have gotten it for 69. And I don't think I would have been annoyed, to be fair.
Nice.
I don't think I would
is
have been
what I
annoyed.
say to that.
So it is hard to judge because every other place was like $60, where I felt like, yeah, that's a fair price for this.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
but I would, if people aren't interested in getting the leg strap, because I just wanted to get a backup one, like you do not need the leg strap. Like none of the games require it outside of the kickoff thing. But that's not an online thing. That's a local player thing.
How often do Nintendo discount their first party on digital games?
Once a year, twice a year, most.
Wow, okay.
And it's like specific games. They've never since day one discounted Smash Brothers. It's always been 90 Australian dollars on the eShop. So the best way to buy Smash Brothers is if you want 2 digital games, like first party games, get that Nintendo voucher that you can get in Australia. It's like $135. So that works out to be a pretty good deal.
So in summary, you want to get a hard copy, you want to play multiplayer, and you want to get a strap on.
No, my recommendation is if you want a party game, I think the digital version is actually almost the exact same cost as like, I don't even think it's $69. That's the thing that I'm confused about.
But you don't get the strap
now,
on, so why would you do that? You're better off getting the physical copy.
Nintendo Switch
Other than swapping
Sports
cartridges.
Australia. I'm just checking this live now on the show.
Can you just
the
use
digital cost.
any strap?
Yeah.
Can you buy one of those cheap
You
iPhone
could-
straps or something?
you
and
could
just strap
staple
it onto your leg.
You could staple it to your leg and it would still work.
Yeah,
man.
okay. I'll probably just do that.
So,
So it's
just
not a big deal.
now that Australia actually has a digital store that you can search as well. Amazing. Like,
You can search now?
It's only like the last week.
I don't
you
have
can
to use
search.
Deku deals anymore.
Yeah, see, this is what I don't get, Swinny. It's $56. That's a budget title. That's digital.
Well, yeah, I
That's
think
pretty good digital,
I think
actually.
this makes sense for Nintendo for this one because it has less than the physical release.
yeah.
Whereas normally I think they price them at the same as the RRP, don't
So
they, digitally?
you're probably not going to play Ring Fit that much, I'm guessing. And you probably don't need an extra leg strap anyway, right, Swinny?
Why would I want to get rid of my Ring Fit?
No, I'm just saying you don't need an extra leg strap. Like, I feel like for your use case, the 56 digital is just a no-brainer. Because it's like 2 gigabytes from a space requirement. You basically just lives on your...
But I don't have friends, so
nor do you want people over.
Or kids.
or
people
do I
over.
play
Yeah.
games online that often?
Have to say though, your setup is a bit tricky. Like having gone to your place now, your setup for like
Enough room? Or
yeah,
what?
like people wailing their hands around. That
Yeah.
feels very dangerous to your beautiful OLED. Like I'd get nervous. So
Stay away from my TV that I spent way too much money on, please.
yeah, Mike, maybe this is something you can pick up for 50.
No way. Have you seen my place? You haven't seen my place. I have no,
No,
room.
you didn't
man.
invite me. So
Yeah, because it's disgraceful. I have no room whatsoever to do anything in my
okay,
place.
fair enough.
You should set it up in that room, like that, where that computer is behind you. That should be a TV to play
Everything's
your
in this
Wii
room, man.
Nintendo Sports on.
Look, just within reach. Okay, just within reach. Okay, wait, hang on. Just within reach.
Just within reach.
What the hell has Mike got? Mike's got way weirder shit. I don't have anything. Yeah, this is
Shit, what is that?
look. This is just within my reach. Look, I think I'm winning.
You are winning. Just within reach.
I got the
A
Wii U.
tie-dye kit.
No, I got the Wii U. I got the Wii U. That wins.
A tie-dye kit. Why do you have a tie-dye kit?
I don't know. Wait, just within reach. A guitar.
Okay, you win.
The
All
back
right.
scratcher. The
Back
most
scratcher.
important
Oh, the Bigwig back scratcher. All right, I'm going to close out this review while Mike is being
Just
a
within
maniac.
reach. A collector's edition copy of Elden Ring.
All right, we are now officially in the outro. How many collector's
within
editions do
reach.
you have, Mike?
Huh?
How many collector's editions of
Oh,
Elden Ring do
we've
you
let
have?
him loose now. We've let him loose.
Just within reach. A drone.
Just within
Oh, that's a
reach.
really expensive one as well. That's not even a cheap ass one. That's a DJI, isn't it? I don't know what it is. Fucking hell. That's
Just within reach.
That's
A
like his
GTX 2017.
what in 2070.
That's his catchphrase now. Just within reach.
Just within
Yeah,
reach.
that's what he.
He's saying the
A
exact
mouse
same.
pad.
It's like he's taking an audio clip because he's saying it the exact same way
I
each
know.
time.
It's always the expirated. Just within reach.
Just within reach. A Kraken Z53 water cooler.
Are these all are there items actually in the boxes?
Yeah.
What? What the hell
Just
are you doing?
within
That's so
reach.
weird.
An Oculus Quest box thing.
What? Why? How
Just
much
within
space do you
reach.
have, man?
A HP sprocket. Just within reach. A second HP sprocket.
Why?
Because one was mine, one was for my girlfriend.
Oh my god, dude. You're a strange cat.
Oh, dude, there's way more. Just within reach. Damp X.
What?
What is that?
It's moisture because of all the
Because you got so much shit.
stuff.
You got so much shit. You have to like.
Oh.
Just within reach,
Moisture
an
removers.
unopened i9 1100K CPU worth $600.
Can I be your financial manager and take
please.
5% of your money, and I will save you so much money,
Okay,
and then I approve or deny purchases.
sure, sounds good.
That is like
I need
making a
that.
deal with the devil, man. Like, you don't
Why?
wanna-
Hey,
No,
what
but I
are
need
you
something
involved
like
with the
that.
fucking devil?
I feel like
You
I
don't
need
want to be
something
involved
like
with
that.
Mike and his purchasing
Just-
decisions.
No,
It sends you insane. It's like
mostly
looking
no.
to the
It's mostly
like
no.
Way too
looking
much
to the
crap
abyss. It
within
looks
reach.
back.
It'd be mostly saying no to
So much
things.
crap. Oh my god.
It'd be like a constant stream of no. Like,
true.
No.
Can I get this penis head mask thing? No.
Sure. Where is
Mike,
it? I don't have any
how
file.
have you secured the octopus to your head? I've been wondering the entire show.
Huh. Like I'm gonna reveal my secrets of our secure octopi.
It's just
hey,
a-
funny story about
It's a
octopuses,
safety
right?
pin. It's a safety pin.
So
Are you
when,
going to talk
when-
about my teacher, the octopus, or whatever?
No,
that
no, no, no,
bloody
no.
show
I'm gonna
was?
talk about the term octopus. So what's the plural of octopus? would you
Octopi.
say? Is it?
Yeah, octopi or octopuses.
Swinny? What do you think?
I'm not going to fall into the trap. Just tell me, man.
Okay,
I'm
so
not gonna fall into
apparently,
that trap. You're so
apparently,
suspicious.
Yes, I am.
I was watching this thing with this lady that works for the Oxford English Dictionary or something, and she said originally, obviously, the term is octopus, and then when they try to standardize, people were calling it octopuses, just because it's standard plural. But then when they try to standardize English a bit better and align it more to Latin, they went to call it octopi, because that was the Latin delineation for plurals. However, then they realized, hang on a minute, octopus is not a Latin term, it's a Greek term. So they had to name it the equivalent plural of a Greek term, which I can't pronounce it, I don't remember the exact name of it. So officially, I believe, all three of them are...
Not officially, but
are
go on.
proper, they're all proper
There's no
terms
such
you can
thing
call-
officially.
Well,
when
it's in
language
like,
is
it's
concerned.
allowed. All three are allowed. All three are allowed.
Yeah, that's what I said. Octopuses and octopi.
So what was the third one?
He doesn't remember octopods.
No, it's...
It's octopods. I'm looking at it right now in a Merriam dictionary.
Is it octopods? Octopods, then, yeah.
I like how you go no, and then I'm like,
No,
I'm
but it
right.
was something else.
And Mike, hence why we called ours potties and pods.
Yeah, exactly.
Bodies and pods.
That's
I know,
why.
I know that. But it's pronounced octopodes or something, or it's written octopodes, not
Octopodes, yeah, yeah.
octopodes.
Okay.
The way we normally write. I think it's got the extra e or something.
This is one of the special
There you
comments that
go.
you're making.
Yeah.
This is
This
what makes
is
you a special
Fun
person.
fact. We
This
can
is-
call it whatever.
This is
obviously.
value
fact, not really.
content. Value
Value
content for people stuck around.
This is in the
Learned something
outro,
today.
where there's still 3 people watching for some reason.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I hope my girlfriend has been listening to this whole thing.
Probably.
Dude, she can hear you through the door. I wouldn't
Yeah,
worry
no,
too
your house is... We can hear you when you go talk to her.
No, but maybe she's asleep. She just falls asleep through my
Maybe she's just pretending.
Yep, and she never listens to anything I say.
Don't
so.
need to sleep. All right, what are we covering next week, Swinny?
I don't know.
My girlfriend.
I can't see the future, so I can't tell what the news is. So.
Well, there's not a
I
lot
would-
of AAA games coming out.
Well, there's not many coming out, but even the games that come out, except for you, we're not playing. So
How about one of us comes out?
well, you're wearing the rainbow octopus.
I am actually quite pretty.
Yeah, look, I'd like to do my Final Fantasy Battle tier list at some point, but we'll slot that in when it makes sense, as opposed to saying that's 100% what we're doing, because that doesn't matter when I do that. Whereas Nintendo Sports just came out, so it makes sense that we review that. So
Point. So wait, is there anything good coming out? in the
There's a few
next-
games I'm going to pick up, like this Nintendo games that are
May.
coming out soon. I'm just checking now myself.
I think we do this exactly 2 weeks ago. when
Yeah, we
looked
keep
at the
doing
release
it.
list in the outro.
I'm just shocked that there's like no
going on,
games
so-
coming out.
Well, it's a good time to
April,
catch up
May.
on all the games that we haven't played because
100%.
it's slow, you know.
There's Mario Strikers Battle League. I'm just so burnt by how the recent sports titles have launched. Just don't see myself getting it on day one. Are you going to get that day one, Mike?
Which one?
Mario Strikers Battle League. It's like the Mario soccer game.
He'd preferred it to be called
probably not.
Gario Strikers or something because he doesn't want the IP of Mario.
true.
I don't want
Yeah.
the IP, damn it. I actually don't. I try to play Mario
You
Golf
just
again.
bought
And
Mario Golf, you idiot.
I get pissed off every time I play it. I freaking hate it. I hate
Why
the
would you
characters
buy it? You
in
just
it.
bought it.
No, because I didn't realize it was that annoying.
You didn't realize
I
it was
love
Mario.
golf games. No, but I thought, okay, whatever. You create your own me. Who gives a shit? You go play golf. No, you got to listen to the yippee, yippee, blah, 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 every 2 seconds. It's so annoying. So I literally had to mute my Switch to be able to play the bloody game.
I look forward to next week when Mike tells us he's bought Mario Party Superstars and then suddenly shocked when the characters sound like Mario characters.
Probably tolerate that more
I
than
didn't
this one.
talk about this in the review, but the music in Switch Sports is amazing. It's like peak elevator music. It's like, this is what hold music should look like in elevator music. It's like non-offensive. It's hard to actually, get annoyed with it. It repeats all the time, but you don't really notice it. And it's just kind of like, oh yeah, chill out music, background. The only game I see that I'm going to get is Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes in June. That's 24th of June. That's ages away. Far out.
One thing next week, we will have a bit of an update on how we're going for the game of some other year because after Chrono Trigger and before that, things have been delayed a bit. So we'll have an update on how we're going to handle that stuff. And you might be surprised. It might go in a different direction than we'd planned. So
Yeah, your battle tier list is going to take ages as well, though, right? So we need to pick for a light week. And then get all the B-roll and everything.
it'll be a chunky boy.
Yeah, that's almost like a half show warranted, but yeah, maybe in a light news week. All right, we've been stuck in the outro for a while.
In case anyone's wondering, I'm gonna get. I'm looking forward to Trek to Yomi. I think you would probably know that one, Swimmy. That that looks pretty cool, and I think it's coming to Game Pass on the 5th.
Well, I'm going to have to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
You will, but that's actually one that I think you'll enjoy.
I'm contractually obligated to play every Game Pass game.
I feel like at this point you should just play all the sports game as well, because then you're like covering everything,
Dude, the thing is, like, I've still got so many games to play. Like, I'm playing them all the time, and
Do you know what, Swinny? It would be really cool if you did this. Not that you played all the games, but if you just did like a snapshot and said, I'm doing a tier list on every single Game Pass game that's out there.
I actually would like to do.
I'll be so into doing that.
A very super speedy
Yeah.
tier list at the end of the year where I just rank them. I'm not going to talk about them.
Okay.
I'll just be like, hey, I'll put this here. Well, yeah, I'd like to do it based on like some of them only playing for an hour, some completing.
I think it's
But
fun.
but when you mentioned the sports, like I'm making an effort to play the non-EA ones. Like even
That's true. You have.
It's just like
you played the F1 game, right?
Yeah, and even
shocked about
technically
that.
that's EA Sports, but it was like, well, it's kind of EA Sports, not, so it's got the EA Sports logo on it, but it's not really EA Sports.
I think it's just the completionist mindset that I have. It's almost like, you're so close to doing it, so. Yeah.
Hey, I just noticed you've got your colored lamp behind you somewhere because I can see the color change.
Yeah, subtle.
Took me 2 hours to notice that subtle thing.
So on the lighting, I think it's like I'll need to, flip my whole room around to make that lighting work a lot better. Because it's too close. Or like use my other camera. This is getting real behind the scenes.
stronger
BTS.
lights.
This is BTS stuff right now.
I've still got lighting I haven't set up.
Oh, do you? You should set it
Yeah,
up.
I just can't figure out. I haven't spent the time to figure out a good way to hook it up behind there because I can't get to the power outlet behind the shelves. So
Yeah, you gotta put
Extension cord
the
from
extension
somewhere
cords in
else.
before you put in the shelving.
Yeah.
That's the
yeah,
bitch.
no, but even then the extension cords, like I wanted them flush against the wall. So yeah. Anyway, I'll figure it out one day, maybe not.
No, I thought I had something, but now I've lost it.
I think it's time to finish the show, guys.
I reckon it is, yeah.
All right, bye bye.
See you later.
Laters.